Chapter 1528. The young woman's analysis was very bold, causing Li Fan's heart to jump wildly, but his expression remained the same. What you said is quite reasonable, but I'm just a poor student, how can I go and plot for the country? Li Fan is indeed plotting for the country, for the welfare of his Li family island. From the information, you are indeed just an ordinary student. Your family background is very ordinary, but this is also where you expose yourself. I expose myself? Expose what? Li Fan was very puzzled. I'm just an ordinary student, why would I expose myself? Everything is too coincidental. If you're just an ordinary student, you can't appear here at this time. The young woman continued, of course, all of this may be just an assumption, because you're a bandit from head to toe. I don't like you, so I'm giving you a chance now. You can take this admission letter and leave China. The beautiful young woman wrote another check. In addition, here's a check for 2 million. For ordinary people, they can't earn this much money in their lifetime. As long as you go to the UK, this money is yours. Auntie, today you brought a group of people and came here to say a bunch of repetitive words. Li Fan was unmoved. Don't bully a poor youth. Don't think that you can humiliate others just because you have money, at least not here. Do you really think I can't do anything to you? The more helpless she was, the more the beautiful young woman wanted to get rid of Li Fan as soon as possible. Leaving such a person by her daughter's side was tantamount to a ticking time bomb. You try. Li Fan was like a hedgehog, even taking the initiative to provoke the young woman. Anyway, I'm a law-abiding citizen, the government will certainly protect me. Name your condition. The young woman did not give up, trying to overcome the difficulty of Li Fan. As long as you can name it, I can achieve it. Okay, that's what you said. That's right, I said it. The young woman's heart moved. It seems like the other party still has a price. No matter how much money, I can handle it. Money was important, but it was not as important as his daughter's happiness. My condition is that you and your men get out of my room. Li Fan put away the smile on his face. If I don't go out, my friend at the other side of the camera will call the police for me. Li Yun, don't be smug for too long. The gorgeous young woman stared at Li Fan. I will always pay attention to you. That would be my honor. Li Fan laughed. To be stared at by a beauty like you, it's really a blessing. Chimph, let's go. The gorgeous young woman tidied up her skirt and got up to leave. The men in black suits followed behind her and left the room. Li Fan also admired this beautiful young woman. She chatted with him for so long, but she didn't mention Liang Ayu's name. It seemed that she was just chatting with Li Fan and even helping him study abroad. If it wasn't for his sudden inspiration to use the camera, the battle today would have been unavoidable. Having his hands and feet bound was indeed quite troublesome. Master. Chua half knelt behind Li Fan and asked Li Fan, do you want Chua to make a move and get rid of them? Forget it. Li Fan still waved his hand. After all, she is Liang Ayu's mother. Now that I don't have time to go to class, I will definitely be marked as a truant. Master, Chua doesn't want to see you being bound. Chua suggested to Li Fan, why don't Chua use the power of the Seven Knights Villa to get rid of those potential enemies? No need. Li Fan immediately rejected this idea. The villa's power is our last resort. If we can't use it, then don't use it. We must not let China continue to be vigilant against us. I can still handle Liang Ayu's matter. This gorgeous young woman wants to have a battle of wits and courage with me. That's good, I will play with her. Other than her, there are also some mercenary groups. Chua reported, I just received information from Chief Manager Ling. The Storm Mercenary Group has sent a small team into China. It's very likely that they have already entered the Imperial Capital University. These guys from the Storm, are they done yet? After listening, Li Fan couldn't help but twitch his mouth. Didn't we catch a few people according to the waiter's clues? Why are they still sending people? These people are all after the money. I heard that the reward for this mission has already reached $100 million. What the fuck? Li Fan was shocked when he heard this. $100 million? This is too exaggerated. Li Fan almost had the thought of tying Liang Ayu up to submit the mission. In the face of such a huge amount of money, who can control themselves? No wonder mercenary groups like the Storm also have to bend over for this mission. This is really a little troublesome. Li Fan felt that it was a little tricky. How about this? You call Chun-Er and the others back. The school will be protected by the four of you in the dark. After all, it was infiltrated by various organizations. No matter how powerful Li Fan's martial arts was, he couldn't be omnipotent. The current method was to let Chun-Er and the others fight together. The four girls' martial arts were not bad and could more or less protect the school. Yes. Chio-Er was a little happy. Sister Chun-Er and the others will definitely be very happy. They have long wanted to come here, Master. Haha, it is my honor to be remembered by you. Master, you are so naughty. Your words make my heart warm. Chio-Er licked her lips. Master, do you want to stab in and feel Chio-Er's heat? Hurry up and contact Chun-Er and the others. Li Fan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This girl was going crazy again. Understood, Master. Chio-Er will go now. With that, Chio-Er's figure flashed and disappeared. Li Fan sat back on the sofa. Since he would not be able to attend class in time, he might as well continue to meditate. He had made some progress in his cultivation these few days, and his sense of white tiger was getting stronger. At the same time, the nine-tailed divine fox pearl that he had hidden started to move again. Just as Li Fan was cultivating, Miss White Tiger's voice rang in Li Fan's ear. The nine-tailed divine fox is awake. With this reminder, Miss White Tiger stopped moving again. Li Fan suddenly opened his eyes. He did not sense the nine-tailed divine fox's aura, but was the nine-tailed divine fox really awake? Miss White Tiger would not lie to him. Could it be that this cunning fox spirit had hidden herself? Immerse, since you are awake, why don't you come out and communicate with your feelings? Li Fan sat cross-legged and said slowly. After a while, a faint sigh suddenly sounded in the air. Sigh, sweetheart, so this is how you think of me. Brat, exactly what method did you use to discover me? A familiar slender figure appeared in the room. She sat on the cabinet and looked at Li Fan. Little fox, you are so sneaky. Are you trying to plot against me? Chapter 1529. Li Fan's question made the nine-tailed divine fox smile sweetly. My dear, your words are so hurtful. If this seat wants to kill you, why do I need to hide? That's true. What kind of person is our nine-tailed divine fox? How could we do such a shameful thing? Li Fan chuckled and continued, but whether you have ulterior motives or other plans, that is hard to say. I just want to give you a surprise. This seat only wants to escape from your restraint. To obtain freedom. The nine-tailed divine fox told Li Fan. I will not let you go. Li Fan gestured. You are already my prisoner, just obediently serve me. I am willing to help you. This seat is not anyone's prisoner. However, since we're both enemies of the Grandmasters, I can lend you a hand. The two personalities of the nine-tailed divine fox reached the same goal as Li Fan. All right, then I need more information. Li Fan immediately asked, how powerful are the realm beyond heaven? How are they compared to you? The immortals of the realm beyond heaven are divided into 3 levels. The nine-tailed divine fox extended 3 fingers. First, the most ordinary lower immortals have no authority. They are equivalent to the current grassroots civil servants in the human realm. They do all the work, and the credit goes to the higher-ups. As for the upper immortals, although they are quite strong, they like to hide behind and cherish their feathers. But compared to those true heaven immortals, they pale in comparison. Let me tell you, the strength of a lower immortal is similar to me. If I am not injured, I can match up to a upper immortal. If it was a celestial immortal, even I would have to flee for my life. As long as this seat cultivates for a few more years, I can kill all the dogs of the realm beyond heaven. When the nine-tailed divine fox spoke, his emotions fluctuated greatly. My dear, that true immortal art is indeed a conspiracy of the realm beyond heaven. You cannot cultivate it. But you can learn the martial arts of others. Hihi, but I am afraid you do not have the talent. Cultivating it would allow you to fight against grand cosmos gods. If you fail, you won't even have a corpse left, and your soul will scatter. Holy shit! What kind of technique is this? How could it be so vicious? Li Fan was stunned when he heard that. This is our Fox clan's magical art. Normal people can't practice it at all. It's very easy for them to die suddenly. However, there was a powerful expert in the past who successfully cultivated this divine technique. From now on, I will be invincible. The two personalities explained to Li Fan at the same time, and Li Fan was scared out of his wits. He thought to himself, how dare they introduce this kind of martial arts to me? Little fox, are you trying to trick me? Li Fan was a little annoyed. How could that be? I love you the most. I don't need to lie to you. In the past, the great cosmos god had cultivated this set of Fox clan divine technique. From then on, I will be unstoppable and awe-inspiring. As Li Fan listened, he was fascinated. He couldn't help but think back to the time when he had mistakenly entered Skysplit Tower and met that person. Could the great cosmos god mentioned by the nine-tailed god Fox be him? If there's a chance, I really want to meet him. It's a pity that there won't be a chance. The nine-tailed god Fox sighed. In the past, he defeated the Skysplit Tower and became a great cosmos god. From then on, he guarded the tower alone and couldn't leave. If not for him coming out, Lin Tong wouldn't have spent so much effort to groom me. It's a pity that I'm not proficient in it. If I could cultivate it to the upper realm, how could this mere sky beyond heaven be under my control? Alright, don't talk after the fact. Since you know that your combat power isn't sufficient, you should properly cultivate it again. Since you learned a high-grade mental cultivation technique, it shouldn't take too long for you to recover. If I want to recover my divine technique, I don't just need time. I need heavenly materials and fortuitous encounters in the mortal world. Damn, then I can't help you. Aya, I'm already satisfied that you have such a thought. Since when did this seat need your help? You puny criminal. The nine-tailed god Fox seemed to be mocking Li Fan. You want to defeat them with just a puny martial practitioner? Don't make others laugh their heads off. Li Fan had the urge to kill. This nine-tailed god Fox was actually threatening him. Nine-tailed god Fox, even though your divine technique is unparalleled, you were still defeated by an unremarkable junior from the pugilistic world. You've really lost a lot of face. I don't regret it anymore. If this seat had recovered to his peak, how could I lose to you? The nine-tailed god Fox sneered. How about this? Let's make a deal. Li Fan could see that the nine-tailed god Fox had always wanted to reconstruct his golden body and return to the mortal world. As long as you're willing to help me, I'll help you reconstruct your golden body. How about it? Do you mean what you say? The two personalities were shocked. Of course, our common enemy is the sky beyond heaven. There's no need for us to oppose each other. Li Fan spoke from the bottom of his heart, thus, we have to work together. That way, we can defeat the increasingly powerful sky beyond heaven. My dear, I'm willing to help you. Humans are all despicable and shameless. How can I trust you? It doesn't matter whether you trust me or not. Li Fan crossed his arms with a smug expression. Because you can only choose to stand on my side. Otherwise, do you want to be the lackeys of the sky beyond heaven? P2E. Those bastards from the sky beyond heaven. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't have been sealed on this island for thousands of years. This seat must capture all of them and peel off their skin one by one. Li Fan was stunned to hear this. Something like this had happened in Huaxia before. Indeed, there were all sorts of strange things in this world. As long as you agree to avenge me, I'll agree to your conditions. The nine-tailed god Fox immediately stated her conditions without any hesitation. It was as if she had lost the demeanor of a fox demon. However, the nine-tailed god Fox was very shrewd. When she saw Li Fan's eyes, she knew that he wasn't lying. Li Fan was really willing to work with her. Li Fan had defeated her before. He indeed had the conditions to work with her. With your talent, even the sky beyond heaven would want to take you in as a slave. Who knows? 2 days ago, they sent 2 people to secretly follow me. I don't know what they want. I really didn't expect them to move so quickly. Human, I'm willing to make a fox race contract with you. The nine-tailed god Fox took a step back and said, This fox race contract can allow me to temporarily live in your body and absorb nutrients and energy from your body. Of course, this is insignificant to you. You don't need to mind it. Of course, you should know the principle of equivalent exchange better than me. Once this pearl's ability is activated, your power will be weakened by several levels. Therefore, this fox race contract is very dangerous. Do you dare to come? Chapter 1530. Li Fan chuckled bitterly as he looked at the nine-tailed divine fox. I say, your Fox Clan contract doesn't seem to bring me any benefits at all. You can become a scoundrel who eats and stays here for free. My dear, how could I bear to let you work for free? The nine-tailed divine fox licked her lips at Li Fan. She bent over slightly, exposing her cleavage to Li Fan's line of sight. She was extremely alluring. The fox tribe was very seductive, and this was the epitome of it. Normal men would definitely be unable to resist the temptation of a woman like her. They might even become the subjects of this nine-tailed divine fox and be used by her without any regrets. However, Li Fan was different. He had seen countless beauties, and his Tao heart was very stable. Although he was a little tempted, he wasn't bewitched. If you have something to say, just say it. Put away your seduction technique. It doesn't work on me, Li Fan said coldly. His voice was completely emotionless, as if he was trying to shatter the nine-tailed divine fox's illusion. How dare you? Why would I use my seduction technique on you? The nine-tailed divine fox chuckled coldly. I just said it's an equivalent exchange. Although I will absorb a portion of your power when you provide for me, I will also allow you to use some of my abilities. Don't you still have that white tiger's beast soul in your body? As long as you form a contract with me, you will be able to use the white tiger's abilities. Oh, is that really possible? Why would I lie to you? The nine-tailed divine fox said coquettishly, in our world, humans can refine spirit beasts. With just a small contract, humans can form a miraculous connection with spirit beasts. Humans use their power to provide for spirit beasts, and spirit beasts use their spirit energy to repay humans. These people are called spirit cultivators. I don't want to cultivate. I only want to conquer the outer heavens with my own power. Li Fan was quite stubborn. Hehe, you think too highly of yourself. The nine-tailed divine fox mocked Li Fan. Oh, my enemy, I know that you have a Tai Chi reverse training technique. As long as you're given time, you'll be able to consolidate your strength bit by bit. Then, you'll surpass those bullshit deities and conquer the Outland. But we don't have that much time for you to cultivate now. Moreover, even if you cultivate spirit cultivation, it will only be a supplementary power, just like White Tiger transforming into tiger armor. Li Fan, you can promise her. Miss White Tiger's voice sounded again. I will protect you. I guarantee that you won't suffer. Miss White Tiger was still the smartest. She immediately guessed Li Fan's thoughts. Li Fan calmed down, but he still pretended to be reluctant. Is this really the only way? It's all good for you. The nine-tailed divine fox nodded with all his might. We're all in the same boat, so why would I lie to you? If you become more powerful, you'll be able to help me take revenge for the realm beyond heaven. All right. Li Fan reluctantly agreed. He pointed to his eyes. But my eyes will be fixed on you. Once you use any method, I will immediately crush your soul orb, and let your soul fly away and scatter. I won't dare, the nine-tailed divine fox said with a smile. Then, she landed lightly on the ground. She stretched out her hand and bit her finger. Then, she drew a strange circular array on the ground. My dear, stand in the array and exchange blood with me. Then, we'll be able to form a contract. Li Fan, enter the array. Miss White Tiger's voice sounded again. This fox wants to reverse the spirit fox contract and make you her slave. Li Fan frowned slightly. But since Miss White Tiger wanted him to enter the array, she must have a countermeasure. Li Fan immediately stepped forward and stood in the blood-red array. The nine-tailed divine fox smiled. This time, it was a genuine smile. This fellow is finally going to fall for it. As long as she enters the array and forms a contract, then everything will be under my control. Come, darling. Raise your finger and bite it until it bleeds. Then, exchange it with me. The nine-tailed divine fox stretched out her finger as she spoke. Sign a contract with her. Miss White Tiger did not say much. Instead, she encouraged Li Fan. Should I trust Miss White Tiger? This should be considered a huge gamble. Once he lost the bet, he would be consigned to eternal damnation. However, Miss White Tiger had supported me all the way until now. If she wanted to harm me, she would have done so long ago. I'll take the gamble. Life is a huge gamble. What's there to be afraid of? Li Fan bit his finger and touched it with the nine-tailed divine fox's finger. The moment their fingers touched, the nine-tailed divine fox's face immediately revealed an uncontrollable joy. She was almost laughing out loud. However, Li Fan's heart was a little heavy. Miss White Tiger, what exactly is she thinking? Hey, darling, this time, you're going to become my possession. Before the nine-tailed divine fox could finish her sentence, she suddenly froze. Then, she abruptly took a few steps back and looked at Li Fan with a pale face. Bastard! You actually reversed the array formation. I won't let you off. With that, the nine-tailed divine fox's face contorted. She sprawled on the ground and transformed into a 2-meter-long white fox. Then, she pounced toward Li Fan. Don't be afraid. Miss White Tiger's voice sounded again. Order her to lie down. Lie down. At Li Fan's command, the nine-tailed divine fox's body immediately sank. Then, she crashed heavily onto the ground and could not move at all. You didn't expect this, did you, nine-tailed divine fox? A ferocious tiger that was also 2 meter long walked out of the void and crawled beside Li Fan. It looked at the white fox on the ground and spoke in human language. I drew a reverse array formation on Li Fan's back. You've miscalculated. Damn tiger. The nine-tailed divine fox lay on the ground and cursed. And you sly human. How dare you plot against me? I definitely won't let you off. You're already my servant. Li Fan squatted on the ground and looked at the nine-tailed divine fox with a smile. Do you want to try struggling? Looking at Li Fan's expression, the nine-tailed divine fox was about to explode with rage. She let out a low growl, but she could not disobey Li Fan's orders. Li Fan, I'm going to continue my slumber. From today onward, you'll be able to fully utilize our power. Miss White Tiger yawned. I'll leave the rest to you. Good luck. By the way, Fox, do your best to assist your master. I'm just me. I don't have a master. Miss White Tiger did not seem to have the energy to deal with this matter. Her body slowly disappeared. You're just my servant for now. Li Fan told the indignant nine-tailed divine fox, we're just doing business. Help me defeat the realm beyond heaven, then I'll set you free. Chapter 1531. Are you telling the truth? The nine-tailed divine fox glanced at Li Fan. Her seductive eyes seemed to be moved. Of course. Why would I lie to you? Li Fan said, seductive fox, remember, I'm different from you. I won't stoop so low as to lie to you. Humans don't have any credibility. The nine-tailed divine fox didn't seem to trust humans at all. Back then, she had been deceived by humans and then sealed on that water island. She was indeed a fox, but she felt that she was inferior to humans when it came to cunning. I don't want to be deceived by humans. Is that so? Li Fan smiled. But you have no other choice but to believe me, right? Human, even if you subdue me, I will still find a way to escape. The nine-tailed divine fox gritted her teeth. When that time comes, I will definitely devour your flesh and make you wish you were dead. We'll talk about that when you have a chance to escape. Now that Li Fan had completely subdued this fox, he had one less thing to worry about. After all, this fox was like a ticking time bomb. If he didn't take care of her, he wouldn't be able to rest easy. You're not going to hide your true nature anymore. Li Fan sat down in front of the nine-tailed divine fox and looked at her indignant expression. You don't say, you're quite pleasing to the eye when you turn into a fox. Human, you're playing with fire. The nine-tailed divine fox reminded Li Fan. It's not that I want to play with fire. It's the fire that wants to burn me. Li Fan shrugged. That's how life is. There's no need to say anything else. You're quite open-minded. The nine-tailed divine fox didn't know whether she should praise Li Fan or not. After interacting with Li Fan for a period of time, she felt that this human was always unpredictable. It's not that I'm open-minded. I have no choice. Do I want to suffocate myself to death? I'll obey you for now. The nine-tailed divine fox rolled her eyes. What do you mean? You're giving up already? Li Fan didn't believe her. Did you come up with another wicked idea? Sweetheart, why are you suspecting me again? I'm already under your control, yet you're still so cold and heartless. You make me so sad. Cut the crap and talk to me about the contract. Li Fan wanted to know what this contract he had signed was for. White Tiger and I are both spirit bodies, so you can use your power to summon the two of us from your body to fight for you. The nine-tailed divine fox said, originally, it was a spirit fox contract to bind you to me. Unfortunately, that stinky tiger interfered and reversed the spirit fox contract, turning it into a normal spirit beast contract. She sighed. Since it's a spiritual beast contract, you can perform 3 operations on me and the white tiger. The first is spirit beast summoning, the second is spirit beast possession, and the third is spirit beast equipment. The nine-tailed divine fox began to explain about contracts. Li Fan was quite pleased to hear this. He had finally managed to tame the nine-tailed divine fox, so there had to be some benefit. As the nine-tailed divine fox explained, Li Fan gradually began to understand. This contract was actually similar to how he had used the white tiger in the past, but it allowed him to make better use of the spirit beast's power. If Li Fan could only use 3% of the white tiger's power in the past, then he could now use at least 50%. Even though he had to expend more energy, the benefits he would reap were also more substantial. Not bad, this is also a considerable combat power. Li Fan was very satisfied. Even if he were to unleash this power, it wouldn't change his martial arts system. His previous methods of battle were still effective, and they were even more powerful. Even if he were to encounter someone from the realm beyond heaven now, Li Fan was confident that he would be able to put up a fight. We're all enemies of the realm beyond heaven now, so we should work together against a common enemy. Li Fan reminded the nine-tailed divine fox, remember, this is our common goal. Even if we have a vendetta against each other, we can talk about it after we resolve this matter. I'll agree to your request. The nine-tailed divine fox was the first to agree, and the two of them could only temporarily become allies. By the way, do you know how to get to the realm beyond heaven? Li Fan wanted to go to the enemy's base to take a look. Since they were enemies, he had to gather as much information as he could. No, I can't go. The nine-tailed divine fox shook his head. I don't know where the passageway to the realm beyond heaven is, and only the people of the realm beyond heaven can pass through it. Therefore, this plan of yours won't work. We have to at least try it. Li Fan felt a little regretful. Otherwise, how are we supposed to deal with the realm beyond heaven? Wait for them to come knocking on our door? I'm not the type of person to sit and wait for death. If I could, I would have fought my way to the realm beyond heaven a long time ago. The nine-tailed divine fox harumphed coldly. You should focus on training your own strength. Don't wait for the people of the realm beyond heaven to come, and you'll only be waiting for death. We're already allies, so it's not good for you to not trust me. Li Fan was just about to mock the nine-tailed divine fox when his expression suddenly changed. There was movement from the white tiger clone. Liang Yu should be in class at this time. How could there be danger? Li Fan did not dare to delay. He immediately jumped out of the window. As he jumped out, Li Fan put the hood of his sportswear on his head. Then, he used his qinggong and quickly ran between the buildings. The place where Liang Yu's class was not very far. Li Fan used his qinggong and quickly arrived at the music building. Through the window, Li Fan could see Liang Yu standing in front of the balcony, fully engrossed in playing the violin. Liang Yu's musical talent was indeed amazing. The sound of her violin drifted through the curtains and outside. The sound was very pleasing to the ear, as if the moon was playing a song that belonged to it. Li Fan hung on the rooftop and looked upside down at Liang Yu, who was playing inside. The current Liang Yu was as graceful as a fairy. Li Fan could not bear to disturb her. If he could make her play for him all the time, it would not be a bad idea. However, this girl was very unpredictable. She promised to teach him how to play the piano, but then she disappeared again. Li Fan's nerves jumped violently. He could feel danger approaching. The white tiger clone had already called the police for him once. This time, it should be more serious. Perhaps the enemy was already nearby. As he spoke, a figure suddenly landed on the rooftop. Li Fan immediately turned his head. A man wearing a telekinesis-enhanced helmet and a combat suit landed on the rooftop with a parachute. He reached out and cut the rope with the paratrooper's saber. When Li Fan saw him, he was about to make a move. However, the other party had already pulled out a submachine gun with a silencer from behind his waist and pulled the trigger at Li Fan. Fut fut fut. The sound of the submachine gun was dull, but bullets rained down. Chapter 1532. Bullets rained down, but Li Fan could already see the trajectories of these bullets. His body shifted horizontally, leaving behind an after-image as he instantly moved out of the shooting range. Ta-ta-ta. These bullets hit the concrete rooftop, causing sparks and dust to fly. At the same time, another 2 men in the same attire landed on the rooftop. These people's parachutes were all special, made of transparent material, and were extremely hidden in the air, making it very difficult to detect. The 3 men surrounded Li Fan from 3 directions, then took out their submachine guns, aimed at Li Fan, and pulled the trigger. The bullets became denser, raining down on Li Fan like splashing ink. But Li Fan's dragon crossing the 9 heavens was practically unparalleled. He shifted left and right, easily dodging the opponent's bullets. The 3 assassins from the Storm mercenary group seemed to have noticed something unusual about Li Fan. They patted their waists, and a black arrow flew out, floating in the air. This arrow looked familiar to Li Fan, especially like the weapon used by Yondu in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. It seemed that this group of people from the Storm mercenary group were also inspired by that movie. Under the control of their telekinesis helmets, 3 alloy arrows flew in a triangular formation, flying towards Li Fan. The 3 of them were like pilots, the arrows were like spaceships, driven by them, attacking Li Fan. Li Fan stood there, stretched out 2 fingers, as if he was waving a sword, and flicked the 3 incoming arrows a few times. Although the arrows were fast, they were still easily deflected by Li Fan. But under the control of his telekinesis, the arrows quickly spun, made a turn, and once again shot towards Li Fan. With one hand behind his back, Li Fan only used the other hand to continuously deflect the arrows. Li Fan's strength was right there. With just these 3 people, they were not his match at all. Since you guys are here, why don't you stay and chat? As Li Fan spoke, he took out a coin from his pocket and held it between his fingers. He aimed at a mercenary's helmet and fired. The coin streaked across the air in a straight line, shattering the opponent's helmet and knocking him to the ground. Li Fan had used just the right amount of strength, breaking the helmet and knocking the opponent unconscious without harming his life. Only an expert who was proficient in internal force could use this kind of method of using power. The other 2 mercenaries were shocked when they saw that their comrade had only been knocked down by a coin. They looked at each other and seemed to see that Li Fan was an undefeatable enemy, so they decided to leave this place. The 2 of them rushed to the edge of the building and jumped down. Wings spread out from between their arms at the same time, similar to flight suits, allowing the air to drag the 2 of them into the air. The 2 of you haven't had your fill yet. Why are you leaving? As Li Fan spoke, he stretched out his hands and pulled at them through the air. Dragon Catcher Hand. A powerful internal force was activated, and the 2 of them were directly pulled through the air and sucked into his hands. Then, the internal force sealed the 2 of them. Bang bang. Their helmets exploded at the same time and they collapsed to the ground. Soon, another figure suddenly descended from the sky and landed in front of Li Fan. Seems like you're the main course. Li Fan looked at the person who landed. He was wearing a silver light armor and was cutting open the parachute on his back. Who are you? How dare you interfere with the Storm mercenary group's business? The other party asked. Li Fan put his hands in his pockets and looked at the man in front of him. I want to tell you first, a mere storm mercenary group actually dares to come to my huaxia, courting death. You can only be arrogant now. As the other party spoke, he opened the box on his waist. There were 7 alloy arrows inside. Remember, the person who killed you is called Apollo. Apollo, and the name of the sun god. Li Fan put his hands in his pockets and looked at the mercenary in front of him with a sneer. Obviously, the other party came prepared. 3 vanguards and a general. If it wasn't for him guarding here, they might have really succeeded. Shua. Apollo waved his hand, and 7 arrows flew out, shooting rapidly at Li Fan. This Apollo could be considered a brave warrior. His 7 arrows had a tricky trajectory, sticking close to the ground and quickly flying towards Li Fan. Li Fan wasn't in a hurry. He stood there, waiting for the 7 arrows to arrive in front of him. These 7 arrows were like venomous snakes. They suddenly bounced up from the ground, circled around, and quickly pierced towards Li Fan's body. These arrows could even penetrate a concrete wall, let alone an ordinary human body. However, Li Fan just stood there, allowing the 7 arrows to pierce through his body. Idiot! Apollo sneered, it's your misfortune to be the enemy of Storm. Is that so? Li Fan sat on the billboard next to him, tilting his head and looking at Apollo. What made you so happy? Let's have some fun, shall we? Aren't you? Apollo suddenly came to a realization. How can you be so fast? Yes, I'm sorry. Li Fan bowed humbly. Let's move on to the next activity. I'll ask and you answer, okay? You want to get information from me? Dream on. Go to hell, Apollo said, and the 7 arrows flew towards Li Fan again. This time, the 7 arrows lined up in the air, chasing after Li Fan. This time, Apollo stretched out his hand, and a hook popped out from the device on his wrist. He grabbed onto the water tower and pulled Apollo's body to the top of the water tower. He decided to stand on high ground and observe Li Fan's movement. Although the other party's movement speed was fast, it was impossible for him to go beyond the range of the roof. Being on high ground, it was natural for him to have a bird's-eye view. Using the best view, he controlled the 7 arrows and launched a barrage of attacks at Li Fan. The 7 arrows were extremely fast, and under the control of his telekinesis, each arrow moved at a speed close to the speed of sound. These arrows chased after Li Fan like the most loyal lover, never abandoning him. Li Fan, on the other hand, simply put his hands in his pockets and used the dragon sky-piercing technique to easily avoid the arrows. Even if he did not stand at the highest point, he could sense everything around him with his inner force. Although the speed of the arrows was fast and there were a lot of them, all the arrows within a meter of Li Fan were within his perception range. As long as he had this ability, no matter how tricky the angle of the arrows were, they would not affect Li Fan. No matter how Apollo planned and controlled his arrows, he could not hurt Li Fan at all. The show is over. Li Fan suddenly raised his head and smiled at Apollo. Chapter 1533. That smile made Apollo, who had been through hundreds of battles, shudder with fear. This man. Is he a demon? Before Apollo could react, Li Fan had already leaped up and appeared in front of Apollo. His feet were stuck to the water tower as if they were magnets. He stood diagonally with his arms crossed and looked at Apollo. Monster. That was the only thought in Apollo's mind. The next time you come, remember that there are countless martial artists waiting for you in huaxia. As Li Fan spoke, he suddenly extended 2 fingers and jabbed at Apollo. However, a strange glint flashed across Apollo's eyes. Almost at the same time, Li Fan suddenly pinched his fingers together and caught a finger-long alloy arrow. My goodness. Li Fan raised his eyebrows slightly. So you still have a trick up your sleeve. You're quite vicious. Damn it. Apollo's heart trembled violently. The final trump card he had prepared had actually failed. Damn it, what was he going to do now? No more tricks, right? Then it's my turn. As Li Fan spoke, he jabbed his finger again, this time on Apollo's helmet. Bang! Apollo's helmet shattered, revealing his true appearance. A foreign man with red hair was staring at him with a look of shock and fear. Don't worry, I won't do anything to you. Li Fan laughed. I'm a law-abiding citizen. You'll be where you're supposed to be. As he spoke, Li Fan connected the communicator and reported his location. Soon, an Iveco drove into the school and stopped downstairs. You should let me go. Apollo tried to make one last effort. It's best for both of us. Otherwise, once the real elites of Storm come, you'll be in a state of chaos. Don't worry, I won't give them that chance. Li Fan shrugged his shoulders. I hate sitting around waiting for death. So, I've decided to go to your base camp and talk to your leader. Are you kidding me? You? Apollo didn't believe him at all. Let's wait and see. Li Fan gave him a confident smile. Then came the interrogation of these guests. The National Security Bureau cooperated with the Intelligence Bureau to interrogate them and extract useful information from their mouths. With Ling Tian's own information, Li Fan had roughly calculated the location of the Storm mercenaries' base. At this moment, on the Li family island, another Li Fan stood at the pier, looking at the surging waves. Li Fan's clone had reached a new level of strength. He could now separate from his body to a faraway place. If he wanted to do that, he would have to separate his second Dantian as well. Furthermore, if it was too far away, once the clone was destroyed, Li Fan's second Dantian would also be damaged. Li Fan could only cultivate another one, which would be very troublesome. At the same time, his second energy center could be used to cultivate inner force. Once the clone returned to his body, it could also increase his strength. At this moment, Li Fan's clone stood at the pier, looking at a warship docked at the port. It was loading the necessary supplies. At this moment, Li Fan's clone stood at the pier, looking at a warship docked at the port. It was loading the necessary supplies. This warship was also purchased from China. Under China's authorization, the Li family island could equip 3 warships for self-defense. Although there weren't many, the 3 warships were equipped with the most advanced technology of the Li family island. Their combat power was impressive. The warship in front of them was named Sea Dragon. Through a unique light energy system, it could sail on the sea for 30 years. This light energy technology was jointly developed by the Li family island and China. In the end, it was used on Dragon God No. 1. Sea Dragon was also a warship of the same concept. When it wasn't needed, Sea Dragon could close its cabin and dive into the sea. Through its unique life cycle equipment, it could survive for 10 years. After 10 years, Sea Dragon would be able to surface and replenish its supplies. This time, in order to attack the sea base where the Storm mercenary group was located, they had to use Sea Dragon. 10 magnetic explosion infantry, 10 kinetic energy warriors, and 2 reapers. Susu, a senior officer of the Li family island, stood next to him. This former officer of the Special Abilities Bureau was looking at Li Fan with admiration and reporting to him about the progress of the mission. In addition, there are 4 Seven Knights sword guards from the Seven Knights Villa. They will follow the ship and act as guards for Sea Dragon. This time, we're going to suppress the mercenary group. Try not to use the sword guards. The Seven Knights Villa was his property. Li Fan didn't plan to show the sword guards in front of outsiders. Moreover, he mobilized the Li family island's regular troops this time to promote the strength of the Li family island. He had previously said that he hoped to turn the Li family's army into a mercenary group. They would nurture the combat power of the army through war. Due to China's requirements, the number of troops in the Li family island was limited. The number of troops could not exceed 1,000 people, and they could not have military vehicles that weighed more than 5 tons. Li Fan didn't impose too many requirements. He only trained the army to protect the Li family island. The number of troops that China had set for them was just enough. But since the number was limited, they must be the best of the best. Nurturing the combat power through war was also the conclusion that Li Fan and Bai Lin Luo came to after discussion. We must do a good job this time. Let's show off our muscles. Li Fan wasn't going to use his own force. He wanted to try out the set of equipment developed by Bai Lin Luo and the others. He boarded the ship with the others. Susu, who was in charge of the operation, also boarded the ship. She then introduced the 3 sets of equipment to Li Fan. Sir, these 3 sets of equipment are the most advanced combat equipment in the Li family island. Susu introduced to Li Fan very seriously. The first set is the magnetic energy equipment set. It includes a set of magnetic storm infantry cannons and a nuclear light armor. This set of equipment is used to arm our magnetic storm infantry. The magnetic storm infantry's role is to attack and break through. Susu pointed to the second set of equipment. This set is the kinetic energy equipment set. It includes the kinetic energy helmet, kinetic energy armor, kinetic energy hammer, and kinetic energy shield. This set of equipment is for us kinetic energy warriors to use. Its role is to defend and counter terrorism. Susu pointed to the third set of equipment. This set of equipment was a little special. It only had 1 piece of armor with 6 mechanical arms on it. This is the Reaper equipment set. The 6 mechanical arms on it have very strong combat power. Furthermore, they have many functions. They are suitable for multi-purpose combat and are also suitable for assault. Come, Li Fan, choose one. Chapter 1534. Li Fan chose for a long time and finally decided to dress more conservatively. He got himself a Reaper armor and wore it. This Reaper armor was very light and thin. It should be made of nanomaterials. Each of the 6 robotic arms had a control wire tied to the middle 3 fingers of the left and right hands. As long as he moved his fingers, Li Fan could control the 6 robotic arms. It was very convenient. There were a few targets in front of him. Li Fan moved his fingers slightly, and a sharp blade popped out from one of the robotic arms. It instantly pierced through one of the iron targets. The robotic arms are made of superalloys. Even iron can be pierced. Susu introduced the equipment, causing Li Fan to be filled with emotion. As expected of the Li family island's most advanced technology, the cost of these individual equipment was low and much better than the individual equipment made by the United States. After all, the price was there. Any of the individual equipment made by the United States would cost hundreds of millions. It's indeed not bad. Bai Lin Luo is indeed a bit interesting. The idea of these equipment was thought up by Bai Lin Luo. Li Fan stood in front of the mirror and looked at his slightly thin Reaper armor. He couldn't help but ask, "Isn't this armor a little weak in terms of defense?" "Hehe, I knew you would ask this." As Susu spoke, she pulled out a pistol from the waist of a guard next to her and aimed it at Li Fan. Without hesitation, she pulled the trigger. Bang, bang, bang. Susu fired 3 shots in a row. Li Fan subconsciously wanted to catch the bullets with his hand, but he knew that Susu would never shoot at him. Thus, he mustered his courage and resisted his impulse. Dang, dang, dang. 2 robotic arms automatically popped out and accurately deflected the 3 bullets. Fuck, Li Fan couldn't help but be surprised. This was a bit cool. This armor is also equipped with a dynamic sensing device. Once it senses the trajectory of a fast object, it will automatically activate its defense. On the battlefield, it won't be a problem to block the shots of firearms below the Gatling level. This allows the Reaper to be successful. Good. Go back and give little 4 eyes a like. Li Fan was delighted. With these 3 sets of armor, the Li family island army's combat power would definitely increase greatly. Report. A subordinate came to report. We are close to the Skeleton Island. That means we're very close to the Storm Mercenary Group. Skull Island was a remote island. It wasn't very big, and according to the intelligence, the Storm Mercenary Group's base was located on it. It was said that the Storm Mercenary Group had always had the protection of the United States Empire, which was why they could survive so arrogantly until now. 15 minutes to reach the target. When Li Fan heard the report, he nodded and signaled Susu to continue giving new orders. Stop moving forward and prepare to float up. Susu waved her hand, and the sea dragon slowly floated to the surface. At this time, the sea was calm. The Storm Mercenary Group did not notice the arrival of the enemy. An amphibious tank was released from the sea dragon and floated in the water. 22 Li family warriors sat side by side in the tank, and Li Fan sat at the front. The other warriors all looked at him with admiration. These people all admired him greatly. After all, Bai Linluo had always instilled this worship education in the soldiers on the Li family island. Under this kind of education, all the soldiers maintained absolute loyalty to him. Li Fan checked his equipment and said to the soldiers, "My fellow countrymen, I know that you came from various countries. But now, you are all people of the Li family island. I know that you are willing to risk your lives for the Li family island, but your lives are more precious than anything, so I hope that you can listen to my orders. I will prioritize your safety. If there is danger, I, Li Fan, will be the first to rush to the front. I will not let everyone's sacrifice be in vain. Protect the Li family island with our lives. Protect the Li family island with our lives." Everyone shouted in unison. However, Li Fan laughed. "It's good that you have an imposing manner. But this time, we are not defending the Li family island. We are going to exterminate those mercenary groups. When the time comes, everyone should strive to kill a few more. Don't let the Windstorm mercenary group think that the Li family army is not hospitable." Li Fan's words made the soldiers laugh. They were all elites of the Li family army. This time, they would definitely use the heads of the Windstorm mercenary group to establish their value. They had to let the ruler see that they were all true warriors. The Li family island was a unique constitutional monarchy. The position that Bai Linluo gave to Li Fan was the unique royal family of the Li family island. Li Fan was the first emperor of the Li family island, the founding father of the island. However, Li Fan felt that calling himself emperor was tantamount to becoming independent of the Li family island and betraying the country. So he rejected it. The two couldn't come to a stalemate. In the end, they both took a step back. The Li family island was abolished as an emperor. Li Fan was given the title of the first emperor of the Li family island. However, the emperor's power was less than the constitution. In other words, the Li family island was still governed by the constitution. From the emperor, Li Fan, to the common people, they all had to act according to the law. They could not violate the constitution of the Li family island. "Ruler, we are almost there," an intelligent soldier reported to Li Fan. "All right, everyone prepare to enter the island." Li Fan nodded and began to arrange the formation. Soon, the amphibious tank rushed to the shore of the skeleton island. Li Fan led this group of people and directly walked out of the war chariot. There were guards on the shore who came over to investigate. They were immediately taken care of by two magnetic explosion infantry soldiers. The magnetic explosion infantry soldiers held the magnetic explosion cannon and fired twice. The blue electric dragon immediately electrocuted the opposing patrol troops. Li Fan couldn't help but be dumbfounded. My goodness, the power of this magnetic storm cannon is really powerful. Moreover, because of the magnetic explosion, the electronic devices of the Windstorm mercenary group were also affected and temporarily lost their effectiveness. Then, it was a massacre. Even if the Windstorm people launched a counterattack, they were blocked by the kinetic energy warriors' kinetic energy shields. Psychokinesis combined with the alloy shields made the enemy's firepower unable to hurt them at all. Moreover, Li Fan realized that the kinetic energy released by the kinetic energy shields also formed a protective circle. The protective circle of these 10 warriors combined together to form an even larger defensive net. It was actually invulnerable. This undoubtedly strengthened the combat ability of the group. The magnetic explosion combined with the kinetic energy shields allowed Li Fan's elite troops to run amok in the Windstorm mercenary group's base. No one could stop them. The combat power of the Windstorm mercenary group was also very strong. Many of their troops were internationally top strength. But when they encountered tough guys like Li Fan, it was like an egg hitting a rock. They were defeated one after another and became the Li family army's medals of merit. Under the protection of the kinetic energy warriors, Li Fan and the others fought in a circle. Surprisingly, there were no casualties. Only a few warriors who were injured were better protected. Chapter 1535. Someone's attacking us. Kerry was the head commander of the Stormy mercenary group. He had lost his left eye in a battle, but an electronic eye was implanted in his left eye, which strengthened his combat power. Kerry was only 30 years old, but he had relied on his bravery and intelligence to overcome all obstacles and achieve miraculous feats. Finally, he had climbed to the position of the head commander. As it turned out, the old commander had not misjudged him. Under Kerry's leadership, the stormy mercenary group had developed better and better, gradually rising from a second-rate mercenary group to one of the top mercenary groups. When he heard that a group of people who claimed to be from the Lee family island had come to the base to cause trouble, Kerry only sneered. These people were really asking for it. The people in the stormy mercenary group were trained with American resources, and they were also equipped with American combat equipment. With them around, even if the armies of some countries attacked Skeleton Island, they would be asking for it, let alone other mercenary group. Kill them and sacrifice them to the flag. Kerry knew who these people were. They were the subordinates of a Huaxia person called Li Fan. Those Huaxia monkeys could kill each other, but when it came to international affairs, they were just a bunch of country bumpkins. Forget it, I'll teach them a lesson and let them know what a real army is. Kerry was full of confidence as he stood in the headquarters, waiting for the victory report. In the end, what followed was one bad news after another. Commander, the first line of defense has been breached. We lost 36 people. Commander, the second line of defense has been breached. We lost 18 people. Commander, the third line of defense has been breached. We lost 96 people. News of the defeat flew into the headquarters like snowflakes. There were not many soldiers in the stormy mercenary group who stayed behind, but they were all at the level of a soldier. However, at this moment, they were useless. The enemy had breached 5 checkpoints in a row. There were a total of 20 lines of defense on the island, but at this rate, it would not be long before the enemy reached their headquarters. How many people did they send? A seaside army? Is there an aircraft carrier? Why didn't you tell me in advance? Kerry asked quickly, but the answer he got made him feel despair. What? They only have 20 people. They are using advanced equipment. Bullshit. Kerry panted heavily. At this moment, he felt an unprecedented pressure. This was a matter of life and death for the Storm mercenary group. Even if it was him, he wouldn't dare to make a rash decision. At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded in the command center. It was the shouts of the other party. Storm mercenary group, I am Li Fan. I warned you not to enter Huaxia. Since you're disobedient, I'll kick your butts. Where is he? Kerry looked around but couldn't find any trace of Li Fan. According to the radar, he should be at the 6th line of defense. How is this possible? Did he hack our communication system? Sensing that his opponent was unfathomable, Kerry's forehead began to drip with cold sweat. We can't wait any longer. Dispatch 200-man squads and attack from the left and right flanks with the 6th line of defense. Kill these Chinese monkeys and let them know how powerful we are. Yes. 2 fully armed 100-man teams set out. They appeared on both sides of Li Fan and his troops, lined up, and aimed at them. They can't wait any longer. Very good. Li Fan nodded and pointed to the 100-man team on the left. Reaper 1 and 2, can the two of you deal with the 100-man team over there? No problem. Okay, the Kinetic Energy Warrior team will continue to protect the Magnetic Explosion Infantry team, and the Magnetic Explosion Infantry team will attack the 6th line of defense. Hurry up and destroy the door. I'll play with the other 100-man team. As soon as Li Fan finished speaking, his body suddenly fell down. Then, the 6 mechanical arms behind him grabbed onto the ground like spiders and supported Li Fan's body. Then, the mechanical arms moved quickly, carrying Li Fan, and suddenly bounced forward. The 100-man team hurriedly turned their guns and sprayed Li Fan with bullets. But Li Fan relied on the 6 mechanical arms and moved too fast. The bullets couldn't catch up with his figure at all. Then, Li Fan had already pounced into the 100-man team. His mechanical arms were equipped with alloy knives, constantly slashing the necks of these soldiers or directly piercing their hearts, sending them to hell. Li Fan really became the Reaper. He was extremely fast and rushed into the 100-man team. Because he was surrounded by his comrades, It was not convenient for the other soldiers to open fire. Even if someone opened fire, it would be blocked by Li Fan's mechanical arms. Stray bullets would instead injure his comrades and increase the casualties of the 100-man team. The 200-man teams were directly messed up by Li Fan's team. Report. 200-man teams have been defeated. The sixth line of defense has been broken. His subordinate's report made Kerry want to shoot him, but this would only cause panic. Kerry suppressed his anger and a fierce glint flashed in his eyes. Cover the seventh line of defense with Hellfire. Go now. Yes. Hellfire was the island's missiles. Now, the commander actually wanted to use a rain of missiles to cover the seventh line of defense. It seemed like the brothers at the seventh line of defense had to be abandoned. Military orders were irrefutable. His subordinate did not dare to disobey and could only obey. In an instant, a row of missiles were fired from the missile vehicle behind the mountain. They streaked across the sky and landed on the seventh line of defense with a smokescreen. Under the despairing eyes of the mercenaries at the seventh line of defense, the missiles were getting closer and closer to them. They were about to be engulfed by death. Kinetic team. Kinetic hammer. Li Fan immediately gave the order. 10 kinetic warriors held a shield in one hand and a warhammer in the other. Then, they smashed the warhammer on the ground in the direction of the missiles. A powerful psychic shockwave exploded on the ground, forming a series of ripples that instantly spread out. The missiles that were about to land were immediately repelled by the psychic shockwave. They flew into the sky and exploded into red flames. It was extremely beautiful. Beautiful. Li Fan was so happy that he shouted loudly. The faces of the kinetic energy warriors were also filled with joy. All of them were extremely proud. With them around, the team would be absolutely safe. What kind of equipment is this? Kerry was about to curse. Even in America, they would not be equipped with such equipment. It seems to be the Li family's psychic equipment, one of his subordinates carefully explained. Fuck. Kerry smashed his fist heavily on the command platform. How did their technology develop? Why is this thing so much stronger than the prototype? Those kinetic helmets were simply trash compared to the equipment in front of them. Chapter 1536. Storm had only bought some information from the United States, saying that Li Family Island had many groundbreaking technologies. Therefore, Kerry had sent Magician to steal some of them. He realized that some of them were too imaginative and ridiculous. The only thing that could be used was the telekinesis helmet. Although it would cause some damage to the human body, Kerry believed that they were all mercenaries who lived on the edge of a knife. Every day, they lived with their lives on the line. This bit of damage could be exchanged for a higher chance of survival, so why not? However, he had never thought that Li Family Island's technology would be so terrifying. It was like playing StarCraft. His side was still full of peasants, but the other side had already produced second-level soldiers. Even missiles were useless against them. How could they fight this battle? Where are the armored vehicles that were just sent out? How is it? Report, the armored vehicles were attacked by the enemy codenamed Reaper. All of them have been destroyed. Fuck. Kerry could not help but curse. He really did not expect the famous Storm mercenary group to be like a piece of paper in front of these people. Brothers, don't be afraid. His eyes revealed a fierce look. He stood in the command center and raised his voice by an octave as he roared at everyone. We, the Storm, are not rabbits that can be trampled on. If they are wolves, we are tigers. Prepare the Tiger King individual soldier system. Kerry took the lead and led the most elite troops to the core area of the base. There were rows and rows of single soldier battle armors. He had spent a lot of money to buy these from the United States. One set cost $25 million. For these 30 sets of equipment, Kerry had really spent a lot of money and helped the United States do a lot of dirty work. Now, Kerry's Storm still owed the United States some money. This was a long-term loan. However, Kerry understood that as long as he had these 30 sets of armor, he could make the Storm mercenary group's combat power climb to the peak. These 30 sets of individual soldier armor were full duplex. They were bulletproof, anti-riot, and could also increase the human body's combat power through machinery. In the past, a mercenary from the Storm mercenary group called Warhammer used the basic version of this armor. Now, the 30 sets in front of him were all upgraded Tiger King versions. They had more powerful functions and combat power. Let those idiots have a taste of our power. Kerry personally walked up to the first armor. The mechanical arm began to grab the armor and put it on Kerry's body piece by piece. Very soon, a holographic screen appeared in front of Kerry's helmet. At the same time, it also had an AR function to analyze the scene he was seeing. The Tiger King armor was also equipped with Kerry's favorite energy sensor. As long as they had this set of sensors, they would be able to see the energy value of visible objects, the material structure, and thus analyze the opponent's combat power. Kerry glanced at his companion, who was wearing the Tiger King armor, and a string of 525 combat value floated up beside him. This is great. This feeling of controlling data was really delightful. Kerry felt that victory was in sight when he saw the long string of over 500 battle points floating above his head. At this moment, he felt a sense of satisfaction and joy that was unique to him in the world. Everything will be mine. I will be the most powerful king of mercenaries. What Li Fan? What Li family island? They are only fit to bow down to me. After defeating them and taking away more technological equipment from them, Storm might even be able to break free from America's control and become the king of king. The good days were right in front of him. Brothers, let's go. Kerry's Tiger King armor was tied with a scarlet cape. With the aura of a king, he led this team of elite warriors and ran directly to the 15th line of defense. Li Fan's troops had already broken through there. However, that would be his final destination, his grave. Kerry was anxious. He kept increasing his speed and was prepared to reach Li Fan as soon as possible. He wanted Li Fan to kneel down in front of his powerful combat power and surrender. Kerry could not wait any longer. He ran quickly on his skeleton island. To facilitate transportation, a dedicated high-speed military channel was built on the skeleton island. Their speed was extremely fast. In less than 5 minutes, they had already reached the 16th line of defense. At this moment, Li Fan's troops had also reached here. The two teams finally met. Kerry led everyone and lined up in a row. Then, he turned on the sensor and glanced at the opponent's combat power. He first looked at the kinetic energy warriors and was shocked by their combat power. 420. These guys actually had such high combat power. They were only 100 points weaker than them. Then, he looked at the magnetic explosion infantry. They also had 350 combat value. Good lord, how could these things have such strong combat power? How much money did they spend to make these equipment? It should be at least tens of millions of USD. If Kerry knew that the equipment on the Li family island cost less than 1 million RMB, his jaw would probably drop. Kerry suppressed his shock and glanced at Li Fan, who was wearing the Reaper armor. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The sensor quickly issued an alarm. A dazzling red light lit up on the AR screen. 3,800? What a joke. Kerry almost vomited blood. Was the sensor wrong? He glanced at the Tiger King warrior next to him. Its value had recovered to around 520. Then, he looked at Li Fan again. Its value continued to go off the chart. After repeating the same trick several times, Kerry finally felt despair. Did the opponent really have close to 4,000 combat power? How is this possible? The two Reapers that are with him only have 320 battle points. Something must have gone wrong. Something must have gone wrong. At this moment, Kerry suddenly felt a little panicked. Have you mobilized the elites? Li Fan looked at the Tiger King armor that represented the most advanced technology in front of him and gave the order. Magnetic Storm Squad, roll call. Yes. The 10 magnetic explosion infantry nodded in unison. Then, the 10 magnetic storm cannons were aimed at the first mercenary on the left. Poof! 10 blue electric dragon bullets shot out and hit the mercenary in the armor at the same time. Crackle! Electric sparks appeared. The armor that was worth hundreds of millions of RMB directly fell to the ground, black smoke rising from it. It was scrapped just like that. The mercenary inside also turned into charcoal and was buried together with the armor. Continue to roll call, Li Fan ordered. The 10 magnetic explosion infantry were killed one by one. Not a single mercenary could withstand the 10 magnetic storm electric current shots. Return fire. Return fire immediately. Kerry finally recovered from the shock. He roared and ordered his mercenaries to move. These mercenaries were wearing armor and patrolling around. The machine guns in their hands kept firing, trying to strangle Li Fan's Li family army. Chapter 1537. Li Fan didn't panic. He ordered the energy warriors to use shields to protect the magnetic explosion infantry. At the same time, he jumped up from the ground and quickly dashed towards the storm mercenaries. With the help of the mechanical arms, Li Fan didn't even need to use his own strength. His speed was already extremely fast. Like a cheetah, he instantly appeared in front of a mercenary. The mechanical arms behind Li Fan all opened up and grabbed the mercenary's body. 2 of the arms grabbed the helmet of the armor and actually tore off the helmet. Then, the mechanical arm grabbed the mercenary's body and used it to block the attacks of the others. Then, it quickly moved like a hunter to catch its next prey. Then, the mechanical arm grabbed the mercenary's body and used it to block the attacks of the others. Then, it quickly moved like a hunter to catch its next prey. Although Li Fan didn't receive training to drive a Reaper, he was proficient in martial arts. His brain and the coordination of his hands and feet were very good. Therefore, he could use the Reaper freely and smoothly for the first time. Li Fan was like a wolf that entered a flock of sheep. He slaughtered his way in and out of the other mercenary group. The Li family army watched with envy. Jun Shong was Jun Shong, similarly controlling the Reapers, yet being able to display such power. Kerry saw his comrades that he had spent a lot of money to build fall one by one. His heart was bleeding. How could this be? It shouldn't have happened. These were all his blood and sweat. They were the top strength of the Storm mercenary group. Even if they were to go against a country, they should be invincible. Why was it that when they faced some islanders today, they were beaten to the point that they couldn't even retaliate? Impossible. I must be dreaming. Ah, this dream is so long, why isn't it over yet? Kerry's eyes were filled with tears. This was the first time he felt so regretful. He really shouldn't have provoked the Li family island. Since you dare to touch my huaxia, you should pay the price. After Li Fan finished off the other mercenaries, he looked at Kerry and said coldly, "Spare me. I'm willing to do anything for you. I'll be your most loyal warrior. You've offended huaxia time and time again. If I don't kill you, it'll be hard to establish my prestige." Li Fan casually said a few words and sentenced him to death. Kerry was in despair. He didn't want to die. He wanted to live. Since the other party didn't want to let him go, Kerry could only fight to the death. "I'll kill you." Kerry raised his hands and clasped them together, releasing a highly compressed double blast of air. This air cannon was an attack that erupted after compressing air. It was very powerful. Even a tank would be blown away by the power of this double air cannon, but Li Fan seemed to have seen through his attack. He used his mechanical arm to push him away and landed to the side. Boom! The roof of a house in front of him was blown away by the air cannon, and it shattered into pieces. And Li Fan had already swept over from the side, directly pouncing on him. His mechanical arm removed his helmet and pressed the sharp blade against his forehead. Fan Ti Fan to Ti and Warrior Commissioner Fan Fan Li time. Family time to say, Dragon to Li, Fan God, Li, Fan, Ti sorry, I've already given you a chance. Li Fan had warned the Windstorm mercenary group, but they didn't take him seriously and kept looking for trouble. Li Fan wouldn't be polite. He had to make them his target. Very good. Everyone did well today. After Li Fan cleaned up the Windstorm mercenary group, he used both hard and soft tactics. Although he killed many officers, he left some low-level mercenaries and took them into the Li family island. Many of the Windstorm mercenary group's members were mature soldiers with good combat power. Taking them into the Li family island and then breaking them up and absorbing them would not waste resources. At the same time, Li Fan took all the weapons and equipment from the Windstorm mercenary group. The 30 sets of Tiger King armor were a good harvest. Although many of them were damaged, they could be repaired and modified in the Li family island. After that, Li Fan spread the news of the Windstorm mercenary group's destruction to the whole world. Almost the next day, the whole world knew that the awe-inspiring mercenary group had become history. A video was spread to various countries. Li Fan wore an ancient Huaxia Han costume and stood in front of the camera, announcing loudly, "From today onwards, all terrorists who invade Huaxia will be punished by the Li family army." In the video, Li Fan was mighty and domineering. He had his hands behind his back, and his voice had an indescribable majesty. The terrorist organization, Windstorm, is an example. I, the king of the Li family island, once again declare war on all terrorists. Whoever dares to invade Huaxia will end up like Windstorm. Li Fan's video was like throwing an atomic bomb, causing a huge uproar. The Windstorm mercenary group had always been notorious internationally. No one was willing to provoke them, not because they were too strong, but because they had a terrifying force behind them, and that was America. In other words, Windstorm was America's lackey. As the saying goes, one must look at the master before beating a dog. Therefore, no one was willing to provoke them. Li Fan's actions were undoubtedly an announcement. Even if it was America, they did not care. However, America could not do anything to Li Fan, especially when Windstorm was destroyed by Li Fan. This bunch of disappointing fellows were simply useless. Without a dog to do the dirty work, America's heart ached for a while. President. In the White House office, the new defense minister apologized to the president. "The dog is dead, we are in a bad situation now. Did I come early in the morning just to hear your death announcement?" America's president was a fat man. He was looking at the defense minister in front of him unhappily. "My current support rate is not high. I need a victory to bring to the people of this free country." "I know, but..." "I don't want buts, I only want result." The president reminded him, "Now that Huaxia has stepped on top of us, our position as the hegemon is becoming more and more dangerous." "Mr. President, Windstorm is finished, we have no one to use. We have to find someone even if we don't have one." The president reminded the defense minister, "If we don't get rid of that little girl, what happens next will be troublesome." "I don't need to say more, right? But Mr. President, according to the information we received, the person guarding her is very likely China's imperial sword, Li Fan." "Li Fan. It's Li Fan again." The president was a little angry. "We are a great empire. Can't we even deal with a small Huaxia person?" "Mr. President, now that things have come to this, I request to use number 9. "What? Are you crazy?" Chapter 1538. The president looked at the defense minister as if he was looking at an idiot. "Have you forgotten who number 9 is? He's a criminal. A real SSS-level criminal." The president warned him, "Do you know what the consequences will be once he's released?" "But this is the only thing we can do now," the defense minister insisted on his opinion. "Extraordinary times call for extraordinary policies. He must be the one to capture Liang Ru." I'm thinking about it, Mr. President, we don't have much time left." The defense minister reminded him, "Apart from number 9, who else can pose a threat to Li Fan? If number 9 makes a move, then let Jiang Feng act as a spy, we can only succeed. Otherwise, there will be endless trouble. We don't even have time to think about it, that's it." The defense minister continued, "Mr. President, have you forgotten that there's a huge threat in the sky that's always watching us? Dragon God number 1 is the Chinese's fortress and also their sword." The president seemed to be moved by the words. "Sometimes I wonder, is this Liang Ru really that important?" "Times have changed, Mr. President." The Minister of Defense sighed, "The current China can easily recover Wanwan by force if they want to. Once they unify the two sides, we won't have a foothold in the Asia-Pacific region. At that time, we won't be able to carry out the plan to split China. Moreover, if Wanwan is successfully recovered, it will undoubtedly be a message to the international community that we, the United States, no longer have the ability to protect these places that are affiliated to us. At that time, our powerful system will also fall apart. All right, don't say any more, I understand. The president was tired and powerless. With the passage of time, they were no longer the hegemonic empire of the past. The rise of China made the United States feel great pressure. If they let China develop like this, it would definitely be detrimental to the future of the United States. If they wanted to turn the tables and suppress China, they could only rely on this mission. Do we really have to rely on number 9? The president couldn't help but laugh bitterly. This is too embarrassing, really too embarrassing. Number 9 was a super criminal. Moreover, he was also a clone created from Li Fan's genes. But unlike the previous works, number 9 possessed exceedingly powerful combat strength, and at the same time, had an abnormal arrogance and conceit. After he was born, he destroyed the laboratory that created him and disposed of the first 8 clones. In the end, the United States sacrificed a lot before they managed to detain number 9. Number 9 had been locked up in the PUBG under the Atlantic Ocean. Let Elizabeth go with you. The president thought for a long time and finally made a decision. I'll leave everything to you. Leave it to me, Mr. President. The defense minister nodded. It's all for the glory of the empire. A day later, in a deep trench in the Atlantic Ocean, a submarine was slowly approaching this place. The lights of the submarine shone into the pitch-black trench. On the surface of this dark trench, there was a huge underwater prison. The submarine went over, and the prison opened a metal door to let the submarine in. After entering a sealed room, the room began to drain. Soon, the submarine stopped in front of a small port, and Elizabeth accompanied the Minister of Defense out of the submarine. Dear Minister of Defense, we await your arrival. The warden's face was full of respect as he personally came out to greet the Minister of Defense. No need to be so polite. The Minister of Defense was very serious. Let's get down to business. Number 9 can't escape. Why don't you let me accompany you for dinner first? I'm here to work. Do you hear me? Yes, the powerful appearance of the Minister of Defense made the warden a little afraid. He wanted to flatter him, but he didn't expect his flattery to backfire. Although in this prison, he was like an emperor. But he was already tired of this place where even birds don't shit. Now, he just wanted to leave here and enjoy the sunshine and fresh air outside. Therefore, the warden wanted to use this opportunity to see if he could curry favor with the Minister of Defense and transfer him away from here. This kind of dark life. Who would like it? Although he was the warden, he sometimes felt that he was also a prisoner in this deep-sea prison. The warden didn't dare to think too much at this time. He obediently led the Minister of Defense and the Empire's elite Elizabeth to the deepest part of the dungeon. The dungeon was filled with a rotten smell. Elizabeth couldn't help but cover her nose. Who knew how many people had died in this place? The legendary number 9 seemed to be locked up in this place. They took the elevator and continued to go down. They didn't know how deep they had gone. Soon, a huge metal cover appeared on the ground. When they landed, the metal cover slowly opened, revealing a cage surrounded by tempered glass. A man with long hair was kneeling in the cage. His hands were shackled with superalloy. Can you trap him with only superalloy? The Minister of Defense couldn't help but ask. Of course not, this room is filled with anesthetic gas. The warden hurriedly explained, relying on this anesthetic gas, we can ensure that number 9 is always in a weak state and doesn't have the strength to break out of the cage. Yes. The Minister of Defense nodded. He squatted down and spoke to number 9 through the microphone. Number 9, are you still alive? Number 9 slowly raised his head, revealing a somewhat thin face. Sure enough, he looked exactly the same as Li Fan, but a little thinner, and his eyes were somewhat evil. He looked at the Minister of Defense with disdain. That gaze, it was as if he was looking at some insignificant insects. This made the Minister of Defense very uncomfortable. Behave yourself. The warden knocked on the glass. This is the Minister of Defense. So what? He's just a pig or a dog. Number 9's attitude didn't improve at all. Even in the prison, he was still calm, as if he was the emperor of this prison. You bastard, Electric. The warden was about to torture him, but the Minister of Defense spoke. I'll talk to him, you can leave first. Yes, the warden could only obediently retreat to the side. Number 9, however, laughed out loud. Ha ha ha, humans have their own paths, dogs have their own paths. Warden, you're not that good as a human, but you're very natural as a dog. The corner of the warden's mouth twitched, but he endured it. You don't seem to be afraid at all? The Minister of Defense asked. Chapter 1539. The Defense Minister looked at Number 9 and asked, Afraid? Why should I be afraid? Number 9 arrogantly said, The strong are fearless. The strong? Aren't you still locked up here? The Defense Minister directly attacked Number 9's ego. This is the strong? Number 9 snorted and no longer said anything. Actually, I can let you out. The Defense Minister's words almost scared the warden to the point he peed his pant. What? Let this guy out? Is the minister crazy? This guy will definitely be an apocalyptic existence when he comes out. How can I let him out? Once he comes out, it's over. Let me out. You're quite daring. Number 9 finally showed some interest and looked at the Defense Minister again. Who here isn't afraid of me? If I go out, it will be your death. I only need a promise from you in exchange for your freedom. The Defense Minister was also scared, but he had to fight. Promise? Yes, as long as you promise not to hurt us and do one thing for us, I can let you out. Ridiculous. Why would I make such a promise? Number 9 curled her lips. For your freedom. The Defense Minister patiently said, Moreover, your opponent shouldn't be us. Sure, why not listen to what you have to say? Number 9 crossed her arms and leaned against the glass wall. She looked at the Defense Minister playfully. I want to hear what you have to say. I also want to know, why did you kill the first 8 clones? Before the Defense Minister entered the cabinet, he was a psychology professor. He believed that he would be able to figure out Number 9's thoughts. In this world, there can only be me. I'm unique and unparalleled. Number 9 proudly raised her head. Those 8, naturally, shouldn't exist. There's something you might not know. The Defense Minister's heart moved. Sure enough, there's a way. Actually, the 9 of you were cloned from a man's genes. That person is the real body. Nonsense. Number 9's eyes widened as a surge of anger rose from her heart. His name is Li Fan, a Chinese martial artist. The Defense Minister kindly introduced Li Fan. He's very strong, you're not his opponent. What a load of nonsense. Number 9 did not believe the words of the Minister of Defense. In this world, how can there be someone stronger than me? It's the truth. The Defense Minister reminded Number 9, you're locked up here every day, but you're just a frog at the bottom of a well. The world only knows Li Fan, but they don't know you, Number 9. Bang! In this anesthetic gas, Number 9 actually stood up slowly. There was clearly no wind, but her hair danced slightly. Cold sweat dripped from the Minister of Defense's forehead. He felt fear. Number 9's body clearly exuded a terrifying pressure. Terrifying. Was this the power of Number 9? Where is he? Number 9's voice shook the glass. Huaxia. The Defense Minister swallowed his saliva and glanced at Wai Elizabeth. Wai Elizabeth understood. She took out an iPad and held it in her hand. On the screen was Li Fan's figure. He was displaying his prowess and fighting the aircraft carrier. I am a unique existence. Number 9's eyes flickered with flames, as if she wanted to ignite everything. I can promise. Number 9 retracted her gaze and looked at the Minister of Defense. After this is done, we're even. Sure. The Minister of Defense was overjoyed and agreed without hesitation. For an arrogant person like Number 9, he was a man of his word. Since he agreed, he would naturally fulfill his promise. As long as he could get rid of Li Fan, then everything would be fine. The most interesting thing was his appearance, which was Li Fan's appearance. This time, things became even more interesting. Li Fan, oh Li Fan, do you really think we have no way to deal with you? This time, we've sent you a big gift. And the current Li Fan didn't have the time to care about this. Imperial Capital University placed great emphasis on student culture. It was Chinese Valentine's Day. The school organized a dance party and invited every student to attend. Another dance party. Li Fan felt as if he had experienced the world. Back then, he had first met Murong Ying at this dance party. Although the school had invited him, Li Fan didn't want to attend. He wasn't here to flirt with girls. He wasn't interested in a dance party. Li Fan didn't have many friends in school. He had always been a loner. Therefore, no one invited him to attend. However, Li Fan had miscalculated. The sky was getting dark. Li Fan was sitting cross-legged on the sofa, meditating. Chiao had just finished preparing dinner and was about to call Li Fan over for dinner. At this moment, someone knocked on the dormitory door again. Bang, bang, bang. This was a familiar knocking sound. Li Fan didn't even need to ask to know who it was. He had a helpless look on his face. He asked Chiao to hide temporarily and went to open the door. Liang Yu was wearing a black evening gown today. She was standing outside the door. Liang Yu was originally a beauty. Now that she had changed into this gown, she looked even more beautiful. Especially the pair of long legs that were wrapped under the gown, it made people unable to move their eyes away. Do I look good? Liang Yu asked directly. The dress is not bad, but a woman with no chest can't hold it up. Bastard. Liang Yu didn't stand on ceremony. She lifted her leg and kicked at Li Fan's crotch. This woman really had a violent tendency. Li Fan gently moved his body to the side and dodged Liang Yu's leg. At the same time, he said, "Blue and white stripes." Liang Yu's face instantly turned red. She clenched her teeth and looked at Li Fan. "Do you really like to go against me?" "Of course not. I'm speaking the truth." Li Fan said seriously, "You really have no chest, and you're wearing striped underwear. Li Yun, do you want to die?" Liang Yu reprimanded. Her voice pierced through Li Fan's eardrums. Li Fan rubbed his ears and said, "Liang Yu, if there's nothing else, I'll go back. I still need to eat dinner." "Hey, who said you can go?" Liang Yu leaned against the door, not letting Li Fan close it. "Don't tell me you want to sleep with me. Go, who wants to sleep with you?" Liang Yu grabbed Li Fan's collar. "Come with me to the ball." "Are you going to the ball?" Li Fan pointed at Liang Yu's hand that was grabbing his collar. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he asked, "You're obviously going to fight, right? Humph. In short, come with me to the ball." Only then did Liang Yu retract her hand. The little girl still had that arrogant look as she ordered Li Fan. "I'm not going. I don't know how to dance." Li Fan usually rejected Liang Yu's request. "You must promise me." Liang Yu stared fiercely at Li Fan, making Li Fan a little nervous. "What's wrong with this girl?" Chapter 1540. "Today, you have to accompany me," Liang Yu requested once again. "You should at least tell me the reason, right?" Seeing Liang Yu like this, Li Fan knew that the little girl had something on her mind. "Are you coming or not?" Liang Yu did not seem to want to say it, and Li Fan could not do anything. Since this girl wanted to attend the ball, he could only follow. Although there were 4 beautiful sword attendants in the school protecting her, and his white tiger doppelganger could sense the girl. However, there were many people at the ball, and it was not safe for Liang Yu to be alone. Sigh, he was really kind. Li Fan silently gave himself a thumbs up and agreed. "Come with me." Liang Yu did not say anything and pulled Li Fan downstairs. She did not give Li Fan a chance to ask and directly dragged him into a taxi waiting downstairs. Then, she sped out of the school. "Hey, I remember the ball is held in the Great Hall, right?" Li Fan finally asked. "Scared?" Liang Yu looked at Li Fan provocatively. "Scared that I'll sell you out?" "Yeah, I'm a handsome guy after all. Who knows if you have ulterior motives towards me?" "Phut, dream on." Liang Yu laughed angrily. Who wants to have ulterior motives towards you? I'll bring you to buy a set of clothes. Don't I have clothes here? Why should I buy clothes? Li Fan was very puzzled. Ball, okay? Don't tell me I have to wear sportswear. Liang Yu glared at Li Fan. No wonder no girls like you. It's not good to attack me, right? Anyway, I'll bring you to buy a set of clothes for the ball. Just accept your fate. Thinking of being able to manipulate Li Fan, Liang Yu felt happy. Alright, I'm at your mercy today. Hey, why does it seem like you're the one losing out when I buy clothes for you? Liang Yu looked at Li Fan amusedly. I'm the one losing out, okay? Then don't buy it. Isn't it fine for me to wear sportswear? If I'm losing out, so be it. Bastard. Liang Yu really couldn't do anything to Li Fan. This guy was probably born to be her nemesis. Damn it, did he not accumulate any good karma? Why did he meet such a nemesis? If it wasn't for the sake of angering that guy, I wouldn't have begged him so humbly. Mitch, when the ball is over, I'll take my revenge. You dare to provoke this young lady, I'll teach you a lesson when the time comes. Li Yun, you've offended me quite a bit. Today, let me make good use of you. I'll let you know how powerful I am. There's a good shopping mall in front. Let's go there and buy it. Liang Yu brought Li Fan out of the car and walked into the mall. She carefully selected a set of clothes. He wore a grey woolen suit, black trousers, and a white shirt inside. Li Fan didn't know what brand it was, but just these 3 pieces alone seemed to cost a lot, right? Huge profits. Li Fan sighed. Give it a try. Liang Yu let the shop assistant choose a suitable size. I've already chosen your size for you. It will definitely fit. Huh. Li Fan looked at Liang Yu in surprise, causing Liang Yu to blush. What are you looking at? Liang Yu asked uncomfortably. This is really rare. Our Miss Liang actually remembers the size of my clothes. Do you usually pay attention to me? Who pays attention to you? Liang Yu turned her head and didn't look at Li Fan's eyes. I just visually measured it. And remembered it. Temph, are you going to wear it or not? I'll wear it. Li Fan couldn't help but laugh. Actually, I might have misunderstood you. You're a good person. Temph, I don't need you to say that. She didn't know why, but after being praised by Li Fan, Liang Yu actually became happy. Oh yeah, I can't let you buy this for me for free. I'll give you the money later. Li Fan took the clothes and asked, how much are these? Not expensive. Around 20,000 yuan. Then, why don't you wear the sportswear? Look at your shabby appearance. How about this? I'll borrow these clothes from you. Liang Yu curled her lips. After wearing it, you can return it to me. When you need to use it, you can borrow it from me. How about that? Although her words were still arrogant, at least she was thinking for Li Fan's sake. Li Fan thought that it would be better if this girl could use her brain before speaking. Put it on first. The dance party is about to start. Liang Yu looked at the time and then urged him. Got it. Li Fan walked into the changing room, then reached out his hand and pressed on the shoulder of the clothes. This sportswear was specially made with nanomaterials. On the shoulder was a control chip. Li Fan reached out his hand and clapped. The clothes were immediately kept, turning into a ring on Li Fan's finger. Nano ring, this kind of high-tech thing, there are only a few in the world. Li Fan only has one. After taking it off, Li Fan then began to change into the formal clothes that Liang Yu had chosen for him. Li Fan had not worn formal clothes for a long time. As someone who liked to fight, he still liked the soft clothes like sportswear. To him, formal clothes sometimes restricted him too much. It was a hindrance and made him uncomfortable. To Li Fan, only fighting could arouse his interest. Are you done changing? Liang Yu's urging voice came from outside. You're a guy, yet you take so long to change. I'm coming out. Li Fan fastened the button on his collar and then walked out. He pushed the door open. When he stood outside, Liang Yu's expression suddenly froze. What's wrong? Li Fan looked at her puzzled and asked. No, nothing. Liang Yu turned her head, I didn't expect that you would still look like a dog after dressing up. These words. Should I be happy or angry? It's rare for this lady to praise you. You should be happy. Liang Yu seemed to adjust her mentality for a long time before finally turning her head. Okay, you're qualified. You can be this lady's male companion. Then I really have to thank you for giving me this opportunity. Li Fan was also used to Liang Yu's unforgiving character. He walked to Liang Yu's side, bowed to her, and then stretched out his hand. Beautiful lady, can you give me a dance? Reluctantly, I'll give you this opportunity. Liang Yu also stretched out her hand and held Li Fan's arm, but it's only one dance tonight. Don't think too much about it. Is it really just one dance? Li Fan was a little surprised. What, you don't want to part with this lady? No, I'm too happy. I can go back and sleep early. Go to hell. The two of them bickered all the way back to school by taxi. But they did not know that in a car far away, Liang Yu's mother was looking at them with a deep frown. Chapter 1541. Chishi Dance. This is the most important event of the capital university tonight. It is said that tonight, the queen of the dance will be selected. She and her lover will receive everyone's blessings. Chishi Queen, this is the title that every girl likes to compete for. Who would like to give up their beauty to others? Although the girls don't say it, they all hope that they will be the most beautiful in the eyes of others. Not to mention others, Li Fan feels that with Liang Yu's beauty, it shouldn't be difficult for her to get this title, right? Chishi Queen. Before entering the hall where the event is held, Liang Yu didn't answer when she heard Li Fan's question. Who knows, this miss is not interested in the queen. Then why did you come here with so many people? Naturally, this miss has her considerations. Under the envious and jealous gazes of a group of men, Liang Yu calmly walked into the hall while holding Li Fan's arm. This hall has been refurbished, and there are many decorations that symbolize couples inside. The dance floor is filled with men and women, and the entire hall is filled with the sweetness of love. Li Fan hasn't been to this place for a long time, and he actually feels a little uncomfortable. Liang Yu, on the other hand, is very natural. She pulls Li Fan's hand and comes to the nearby booth. The layout here is indeed very meticulous. On the surrounding tables, there are some self-service meals. After Liang Yu sat down, Li Fan brought some drinks for her. When the two of them were together, they attracted even more envious gazes. See. Liang Yu pretended to drink a cocktail while whispering to Li Fan, following this miss, how many people are looking at you with envy? Is that envy? That's hatred, okay? Li Fan bitterly smiled again and again, being by your side, how much hatred have I attracted, my God? What, have you wronged me? As Liang Yu said that, she gently pinched a small piece of cake with her fingers and then fed it to Li Fan's mouth. Let them hate you to death, We have no enmity in the past, no enmity today, why do you have to be so ruthless? Li Fan wanted to cry but had no tears. That's true. I might have gone too far. How could I attract so much hatred for you? As Liang Yu spoke, she stretched out her hand and gently wiped the corner of Li Fan's mouth before wiping it into her own mouth. Li Fan could clearly feel that the surrounding temperature had risen a lot. Oh my God, what a terrifying fire of jealousy. If he gave the men around him a gun, he would have been turned into a sieve. Who is this person? What right does he have to sit with our campus belle? Yes, and so intimate. Heavens, I'm going to kill him. I want to draw a little person to curse him. All kinds of complaints entered Li Fan's ears, but Li Fan was also helpless. This Liang Yu actually occasionally played such small tricks. He was simply a little demon. Are you trying to kill me, little missy? What are you afraid of? They won't dare to do anything to you. You're underestimating the power of your little fans. How about I help you explain in a while? Liang Yu blinked her eyes and looked at Li Fan seriously. I'll tell them that although you're with me every day, you actually don't like me at all, okay? You're asking for my life. Li Fan covered his face. If they knew, they would tear me apart. They would think that I'm occupying the latrine without taking a shit. Pay. You're the latrine. Liang Aryu secretly twisted Li Fan's waist, but Li Fan's waist was also full of muscles, so he didn't twist it. This kid's figure is quite good, Liang Aryu thought. Hey, there seems to be a girl over there. Li Fan couldn't help but look into the distance. He discovered that on the dance floor, there was a girl who attracted the attention of many men. This girl was wearing sexy clothes, revealing her chest and legs. It was really eye-catching, not to mention those boys who haven't seen much of the world. Even if it was him, he would want to drool. There was already a handsome young man by the girl's side. He was dressed in a white tuxedo with a rose brooch on his chest. He looked somewhat mature. The young man said something to the beautiful girl, then picked up a glass of wine and walked over to Li Fan's side. Li Fan frowned, feeling that the newcomer didn't come with good intentions. Dear, let's go dance. Liang Aryu intimately held onto Li Fan's arm. Contrary to her usual behavior, she softly said in his ear. The other party had already arrived in front of him. Seeing this scene, he smiled awkwardly. Little Aryu, her. Luo Bei, it's you? Liang Aryu greeted the other party normally, but Li Fan could see that there was an obvious fluctuation in this woman's eyes. Little Aryu, long time no see. Luo Bei's voice was magnetic as he gently spoke to Liang Aryu. My little brother doesn't know any better. A while ago, he gave you a lot of trouble, right? He's just a kid, I didn't take him seriously. Liang Aryu casually waved her hand. Isn't everyone in the Luo family like this? I'm already used to it. Oh right, let me introduce you. This is my boyfriend, Li Yun. Liang Aryu pulled Li Fan's hand and affectionately introduced the two. This is Luo Bei, Luo Nan's brother. He's our student council president. Millimeter, he just returned from a year of exchange in America. He's a top student. Hello. Li Fan extended his hand and politely greeted the other party. Hello, thank you for taking care of little Aryu. Luo Bei held Li Fan's hand and said, she likes to drink. She falls asleep when she drinks too much. You must take good care of her. Millimeter, I will. Li Fan took advantage of the situation and hugged Liang Aryu's slender waist, letting her lean on his body. In the future, I'll definitely invite you to my wedding with little Aryu. Right, little Aryu? Liang Aryu quickly reacted and said with a smile. But I want to travel and get married. A traditional wedding is too tiring. Okay, as you wish. Li Fan gently pinched Liang Aryu's nose. The relationship between the two of you is really good. Hearing Luo Bei's voice, Li Fan felt a bit sour. Li Yun, I want to dance. Liang Aryu suddenly said in his ear. Her voice was a bit strange, as if she was suppressing something. Beautiful Miss Liang, may I ask you to dance? Li Fan immediately took a step back, bent down, and extended his hand toward Liang Aryu, inviting her. With pleasure, my prince. Liang Aryu gave Li Fan a smile. The two held hands and stepped onto the dance floor. Luo Bei drank a mouthful of wine. He seemed to be a bit unwilling. The flirtatious beauty from before suddenly stepped forward, grabbed him, and dragged him onto the dance floor. Li Fan looked carefully and discovered that this beautiful woman seemed to be of mixed blood. Chapter 1542. The beauty by Luo Bei's side was a mixed race. She and Liang Aryu were the most dazzling existences at the ball. However, compared to Liang Aryu, this mixed-race beauty was obviously more attractive and more suitable for occasions like the ball. Although Liang Aryu was also very beautiful, her weakness was her small chest and her lack of seductive charm. The mixed-race beauty looked like she had been hanging out in nightclubs and bars all year round. There was no need to mention how seductive her body was. Looking at her, Li Fan could not help but think of a woman, the nine-tailed divine fox. Liang Aryu noticed that Li Fan had been staring at the mixed-race beauty and seemed to be a little jealous. She extended her hands and wrapped them around Li Fan's neck. She took the opportunity to turn his head so that he could only look at her. Darling, we should dance. Okay. Li Fan held Liang Aryu's hand and danced with her amidst the melodious music. Liang Ayu had learned some dance before. She had a good figure and her dance was very enchanting. Li Fan had also taken some dance lessons before. In addition, he had a foundation in martial arts, so he could match Liang Ayu's movements. Under the lead of the mixed-race beauty, Luo Bei danced beside Li Fan and the others. This mixed-race beauty seemed to want to compete with Liang Ayu. Her dance was also very hot. From time to time, she would hug Luo Bei and do some pole dance moves, which attracted a burst of cheers from the surrounding people. Although Liang Ayu was unwilling, she had only learned some basics of dance. She had never learned pole dance before, so she could not do the moves like the mixed-race beauty. But at this time, Li Fan took the initiative to pull Liang Ayu's small hand and led her to dance a very passionate Latin dance. Liang Ayu had only learned a little Latin dance. She did not know why, but she felt as if there was a power coming from the man's hand in front of her, leading her body, making her move involuntarily. She followed Li Fan and danced to the music. The two of them were like a pair of dancers in sync. Their dance attracted more people's attention. Li Fan even reached out and pulled down Liang Ayu's long skirt, revealing her sexy and fair thighs, causing a group of men to cheer. Liang Ayu had a wild personality to begin with, so she became excited instead. Now that a piece of her dress had been torn off, it was much easier for her to jump. The two of them danced better and better, gradually entering a perfect state, attracting more and more attention. In comparison, Luo Bei and the mixed-blood beauty lost their luster. For a moment, it was as though all the light in the hall was shining on Li Fan and Liang Ayu. Liang Ayu danced very excitedly. When Li Fan finally finished, she was still in high spirits. Her pair of beautiful eyes looked at Li Fan. Her face was flushed, and her chest rose and fell gently as if she had just finished a warm-up exercise. Pa pa pa. Enthusiastic applause came from all around. Everyone was shocked by Liang Ayu and Li Fan's dance. These two people danced too well. Could it be that they were professional dancers? Although no one knew Li Fan, Liang Ayu was a goddess on the level of the campus belle. She was obviously a talented girl in the music department. A beam of light also hit Liang Ayu. Amidst the surrounding cheers, the mixed-blood beauty fiercely stomped her foot in the shadows. Amidst the applause, Li Fan held Liang Ayu's hand, and Liang Ayu smiled sweetly. It seems that the title of queen this time will be none other than you. Luo Bei walked over and congratulated Liang Ayu. Thank you. Liang Ayu leaned into Li Fan's embrace. If there's nothing else, I'll go out with him to celebrate. Goodbye. Under the envious gaze of the crowd, Li Fan held Liang Ayu's hand and walked outside. Luo Bei seemed to have decided something. He suddenly stepped forward and grabbed Liang Ayu's arm. Little Ayu, wait a minute. Liang Ayu turned her head and looked at Luo Bei calmly. Is there anything else? Give me another chance. Liang Ayu smiled as soon as Luo Bei finished speaking. Another chance? Sorry, we didn't even start. With that, she shook off Luo Bei and pulled Li Fan away. After walking for a long time, Li Fan didn't say a word and just stayed by Liang Ayu's side. After returning to the apartment, Liang Ayu squatted in front of the dormitory door. Suddenly, she couldn't control her tears and they flowed out. Here. Li Fan squatted by her side and handed her a packet of tissues. Aren't you curious? Liang Ayu wiped her tears and finally raised her head to look at Li Fan. Not curious. Li Fan said honestly, plus, this kind of thing can be seen at a glance. Back then, he used flowery words to make me happy, so we dated for a while. Liang Ayu sneered. Later on, he cheated and I caught him in the act. But you still can't let go of him, right? Li Fan looked at Liang Ayu. Otherwise, you wouldn't have made him so angry today. Perhaps, but I won't have any illusions about him anymore. Liang Ayu said, look at him just now. Just thinking about it makes me happy. Haha. As long as you're happy. Li Fan nodded and then patted Liang Ayu's shoulder lightly. But, let's not meet again in the future. Why? Liang Ayu was originally happy, but when she heard Li Fan's words, she was suddenly shocked and quickly raised her head to ask. Today, I was still fantasizing that we might have become friends. Li Fan's voice became colder and colder, making Liang Are feel a chill, but I realized that I was thinking too much. You've just been using me. You did it in the past, and you still do it today. Miss Liang Are, it just so happens that we haven't started yet, so let's end it here. Goodbye. No, never again. With that, Li Fan stood up, walked into his room and closed the door. The moment he closed the door, Liang Are suddenly woke up as if from a dream. She suddenly jumped up and directly kicked the door of Li Fan's room. Li Yun, get out here right now. What right do you have to say that to me? Come out. Speak clearly. Come out. Liang Aru's personality was like this. If she wanted to throw a tantrum, she would throw a tantrum. However, Li Fan sat on the bed in his room and didn't move. Master, are you really going to ignore her? Chua stood beside Li Fan and couldn't help but ask. Ignore her. She'll go back when she's tired. Li Fan seemed to have a heart of stone at this moment. There was nothing he could do. Liang Aru kept using him, and this made Li Fan feel humiliated. If he didn't teach this girl a lesson, she would forever think that the entire world owed her. She had an unhappy childhood, but did she have to befall her misfortune on someone else? Why don't Chua chase her away on behalf of Master? Chua suggested again, she's shouting outside the door. I'm afraid she'll disturb Master's cultivation. Forget it. Let her shout. I can naturally seal my 5 senses and ignore her. All right, Master is so kind. Am I kind? Li Fan laughed bitterly. Chapter 1543. Li Fan sealed his 5 senses and asked Chua to protect him. He sat on the sofa and meditated until dawn. When he woke up, he felt refreshed. It seemed that the night was fruitful. Practicing martial arts had to be done step by step. He could not slack off for even a day. However, it was not enough to just practice internal strength. He could not slack off on external strength either. Li Fan was about to wash up and go downstairs to practice boxing when he realized that Chua was staring at him. Chua, what's wrong? Li Fan looked at Chua. He did not know what she was thinking. Do you have something to say to me? Chua shook her head and did not say anything. When did she go back? Since Chua did not want to say, Li Fan did not ask further. However, when he asked, Chua nodded and looked at Li Fan nervously. About her? Chua nodded again. Then, she stretched out her hand and pointed at the door. Li Fan seemed to understand something and looked at the door. Is she still outside? I think so. She called for more than an hour. After midnight, there was no movement. But I feel that she is still here. It can't be. This rich young lady, as Li Fan spoke, he walked over and opened the door. Indeed, Liang Aru was leaning against the door frame. The young lady had fallen asleep. Li Fan was very helpless. Why did the young lady fall asleep? Was she tired? Or was she purposely being angry and not leaving? This young lady was really stubborn. He had no choice but to carry the young lady and carry her to the sofa. However, Liang Aru seemed to be sleeping very lightly. When he put her down, the young lady suddenly woke up and subconsciously grabbed Li Fan's sleeve, not letting him leave. Li Fan took a closer look and realized that the young lady's eyes were red and swollen. It seemed that she had been crying. Sleep for a while more. Li Fan's hand gently pressed on Liang Aru's forehead, and a surge of inner force flowed into Liang Aru's body. It was as if she had been enlightened, causing her to feel comfortable. She felt sleepy again, and she closed her eyes and fell asleep again. Liang Aru slept for a long time. After a long time, she slowly woke up and glanced at Li Fan, who was sitting beside her. Liang Aru felt pain in her eyes. It took her a long time to realize that she had been crying all night. She didn't know why, but when Li Fan said goodbye to her, Liang Aru felt her heart ache. We're just classmates. Liang Aru, are you thinking about something you shouldn't be thinking about again? You look sad when you're crying. Are you thinking of me? Seeing that Liang Aru had woken up, Li Fan asked her with a smile. Go to hell. Who wants you? When Liang Aru saw Li Fan, she felt vexed and a little angry. Then why did you fall asleep at my door? Is it comfortable at my door? This lady. I'm just tired. Liang Yu fiercely glared at Li Fan. If you have the ability, don't let me in. Didn't you say that you won't see me again? Then who would have thought that our Miss Liang would be blocking the door? Li Fan sighed. What can I do? I'm also in despair. Don't tell me I have to jump out of the window. This lady will see whoever I want to see. You want to say goodbye? No way. What kind of logic is this? Li Fan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. If I want to hide from you, do I need to get your permission? That's right. Why is that? Where's the logic? I'm the logic. Liang Yu insisted that this matter was not up to Li Fan to decide. You're still relying on me? Pei, what do you mean relying on you? I'm keeping my promise. Liang Yu rolled her eyes and immediately said, at that time, we agreed that you would teach me how to play the flute and I would teach you how to play the zither, right? That's right. Then that's right. This lady is not like you, actually not keeping your promise. Since I've promised you, I must do it. Fine, you're right. Li Fan was helpless. This Liang Yu seemed to be really relying on him. But Liang Yu, Student Liang, Miss Liang. I'm no longer of any use to you right now, right? Why not? Liang Yu said with certainty, you're a stock with potential that can be developed. Don't worry, even if you're a waste, under this lady's guidance, you'll be able to find value in you. Fuck, do I still have to thank you? Aya, don't thank me too much. Capable people do more work. Liang Yu's mood quickly recovered. She stood up, walked to the entrance, opened the pot, and saw the lean meat porridge inside. She immediately smiled and scooped a bowl for herself. Why are you still standing there? Come and have breakfast. Liang Yu waved her hand. Li Fan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Fuck, whose house is this? I realized that your cooking is really good. In the future, cook for me every day so that I don't have to order takeout. The food outside is unhygienic and greasy. It's better to eat yours. Don't you think I look like a chef? Yes. What's wrong? Nothing, eat. Li Fan really didn't know what to do with Liang Yu. He couldn't possibly chase Liang Yu outright. Who knew that as Liang Yu ate, she suddenly cried again. Fuck. Is my porridge poisoned? Why did you cry after eating it? Li Fan was a little uneasy. Could it be that Qiu was purposely messing with Liang Yu? It would have been better if he didn't ask. The moment he asked, Liang Yu suddenly cried even more fiercely and directly wailed. The little lass laid on the table, sobbing non-stop. She didn't even bother to drink the porridge. Li Fan sat awkwardly at the side. He didn't know whether to persuade her or not. He was a little uneasy. Liang Yu cried for a full half an hour before she slowly calmed down. She grabbed Li Fan's hand and used his sleeve to wipe her tears and snot. Li Fan wanted to complain, but he held it back. All right, eat the porridge. It's getting cold. Liang Yu acted like nothing happened and picked up the porridge. It's already cold. I'll heat it up for you. Li Fan sighed. He picked up the porridge, walked to the entrance, and put it in the microwave. Do you think I'm crazy? Liang Yu suddenly blurted out this sentence. Isn't it? It's because the porridge is too delicious. So touched that you're crying? I think of my mother. The appearance of the beautiful young boss appeared in Li Fan's mind. Does she love you a lot? In the past, right? At that time, she wasn't a big boss yet. Her cooking was also very good. She especially liked to make porridge. I really loved to eat her porridge. Liang Yu slowly said, later, my parents quarreled fiercely. The two of them fought every day and didn't eat at home. I never had the porridge she made again. And Luo Bei broke into my world at that time. Liang Yu began to tell the story of the past. At that time, I was in my 3rd year of high school. I had no one to talk to, but I happened to meet Luo Bei. At that time, he was already in his 1st year of university and seemed very mature. He often enlightened me online, making me feel that I had someone to rely on. Chapter 1544. Li Fan had long understood that this was a story of taking advantage of the situation. But if this girl wanted to say it, then he would let her continue. This was the so-called detoxification treatment. Liang Yu was now in the detoxification stage. Letting her say it would make her feel better. I've already told you what happened next. I caught this guy in bed, and he was having fun, a threesome. Liang Yu laughed bitterly. You've really broadened my horizons. A threesome, so envious. Don't know when I can have a threesome with Murong and her sister. But the ending will be miserable. Murong Ying will definitely kill me. For such a proud woman to accept a sister to serve a husband. It's probably impossible. What are you thinking? Liang Yu saw that Li Fan was lost in thought and could not help but pat him. Ah, nothing. I was just thinking, how can there be such a shameless man in this world, thinking about threesome every day? Li Fan scolded with deep hatred. Yes. These men should have their dicks cut. Liang Yu's words made Li Fan's crotch cold, and he subconsciously wanted to protect his little brother. Li Yun, although you scolded me yesterday, according to my previous temper, you're dead. Liang Yu's gaze suddenly returned to Li Fan, but I also thought about it. What you said is somewhat reasonable. From today onwards, I've decided to change myself and try to make a friend. With that, Liang Yu extended her hand to Li Fan. My name is Liang Yu, a second-year music student at Imperial City University. Hello, can we get to know each other? Hello, my name is Li Yun. Li Fan felt that this was a chance for Liang Yu to rise from the ashes. If she can change, it's not like he can't give her a chance. Good. Li Yun, from today onwards, you're my little brother. Liang Yu grabbed Li Fan's shoulder and proudly said, in the future, only I can bully you, no one else can. If anyone dares to bully you, tell them my name. Li Fan sweated profusely. This lass, it's really easier to change mountains and rivers than to change a person's nature. Can't you interact with him as an equal? It's already very equal. What else do you want? Liang Yu stretched her body. I'm a little tired from sleeping. I'm going back to take a shower and sleep. Go. By the way, you have to come with me tonight. Liang Yu suddenly turned around and thought for a moment. No, please do me a favor. What's the matter? It's my grandpa's birthday in 3 days. Do you want to attend a party with me? Oh, the old man's birthday is coming up. Let me think about what present to prepare. The gift is a small matter. The important thing is that you're coming. Liang Yu suddenly became a little shy. I still have to let you pretend to be my boyfriend. Li Fan was puzzled. Why do I need a boyfriend for my birthday? You don't know, but my family is a big family. Liang Yu explained. The 7 aunts and 8 aunts in my family would come every year for my birthday. Then, they would be concerned about my boyfriend. Wouldn't it be good to let them introduce a suitable one to you? I'm not interested in those rich young masters. Liang Yu snorted. These people either try to get rich or are arrogant and despotic. They're not the type that this lady likes. Since you're my friend, it shouldn't be a problem for you to help me with this, right? Sure. Li Fan could only agree. Since you said so, I'll help you. That's great. Then you can keep this set of clothes. Wear it that day. Liang Yu pointed at the set of clothes that Li Fan had changed out of. Then I'll go back first. Oh right, from today onwards, every afternoon at 5, I'll teach you how to play the piano. With that, this girl was like a happy bunny as she skipped away. Li Fan shook his head. This girl was really hard to deal with. While Li Fan was busy with Liang Yu's matters, on Li Family Island, he was also taking care of the island's construction. Jun Shong, this is the construction plan of the Sovereign King Square. Please take a look. The construction minister, Honda Sakura, stood in front of Li Fan and said respectfully, a lot of things can be built in the center of the city. Li Fan looked at the municipal plan and couldn't help but frown. We can make a business district here. Wouldn't it be better to use it as a tourist city? Jun Shong, there are already 2 business districts, and 2 more are in the process of being developed. Honda Sakura had a good temper. She patiently explained to Li Fan. This sovereign king square was built in your name. It represents that you are the mainstay of our island. The government needs this square, and the people also need this square. This is a great advantage for us to strengthen our centralized system. Furthermore, the surroundings of the square can be developed into a public park for the citizens to visit and play for free. Furthermore, Honda Sakura listed a few more reasons to convince Li Fan. Alright then, Li Fan sighed. I just feel that it's a bit too exaggerated. I'm a person who likes to keep a low profile. What is your current status? Li Family Island's Jun Shong. Honda Sakura immediately reminded Li Fan. You can't keep a low profile anymore. Everyone on the island is watching you. While they were talking, Liao Wushuang immediately stepped forward and handed the document in her hand to Li Fan. These are the applications submitted by more than 20 countries. Liao Wushuang said, Our Li Family Island is an independent administrative district and also a tourist city. Therefore, these countries hope that we can open the visa-free policy for them to promote cultural exchanges and tourism between the two sides. That's not a problem. You can make the decision on this matter. After all, you're a diplomat. Do you want to be a hands-off shopkeeper? After Liao Wushuang heard it, she couldn't help but smile bitterly. It's not a hands-off shopkeeper. This is trust in you, right? Yes, what you say always makes sense. Liao Wushuang couldn't do anything to Li Fan. However, you won't be able to take a break today. The diplomatic teams from America, Japan, and South Korea are here. What are they here for? Did you forget? They're here to buy weapons. Liao Wushuang rolled her eyes at Li Fan. Where's your assistant? Didn't she tell you? Assistant? I have an assistant. Li Fan was stunned. Liao Wushuang seemed to have a headache and gently rubbed her temples. Oh my god, how does Bai Lin Luo do things? Didn't you arrange for an assistant? Wait a moment. Liao Wushuang rushed out. Honda Sakura also bowed to Li Fan. Then this official will also take his leave. Ian, I'll leave the matter of the square to you. Li Fan continued to look at the report in his hand. Not long later, there was a knock on the office door. The assistant is here. Will it be a beautiful female secretary? Li Fan was looking forward to it. Chapter 1545. There's a saying in Li Fan's hometown, when there's work, the secretary does it, when there's nothing, the secretary does it. Li Fan is still thinking, should he also respect this tradition? Please come in. He adjusts his clothes and blurts out. The office door is pushed open, and a handsome young man wearing a white shirt and black trousers walks in. Damn, why is it you? Seeing this familiar face, Li Fan doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. What's wrong, my Jun Shong? Are you unhappy to see me? Liu Zhu stands in front of Li Fan. This young man is becoming more and more handsome. Today he has a ponytail, and his fair face is full of smiles. This brother is the same as Yang Kai, more beautiful than a woman. Not only does he make men have no way to live, he also makes women have no way to live. Ari, it's not that I'm unhappy, I just thought a female secretary would come. Li Fan sighs, and Liu Zhu giggles. Are you thinking that if there's work, the secretary will do it, and if there's nothing else, Ian? Damn, don't tease me, or else this Guaran will make do with you. Li Fan makes fun of Liu Zhu. This Guaran has taken a fancy to your chrysanthemum for many years, and now it's time to display my dragon yang skills. Go to hell, you can't make this kind of joke. You're a man, why are you blushing? Li Fan laughs heartily. Seeing Liu Zhu's uneasy appearance, he becomes happy. Damn it, I'm not really interested in Liu Zhu, right? This person is really strange. Liu Zhu is obviously a man, but why do I always have this feeling of being moved by him? Li Fan pats his face to keep himself sober. Jun Shong, if you keep messing around, I'll leave. Fine, I won't mess around. In private, when there's no one around, you can still call me Big Brother. Calling me Jun Shong or something is too distant. Yes, Jun Shong, oh no, Big brother. Liu Zhu corrects himself, and Li Fan is happy. That's more like it. Come, discuss with Big Brother how to deal with this group of foreign idiots. As he spoke, Li Fan pulled Liu Zhu over to sit next to him. Jun. Big Brother, this isn't very good. Liu Zhu wanted to get up. If others see us sitting together, they'll say that we're unruly. Anyway, there are no outsiders here. You don't have to be so arrogant. Li Fan patted Liu Zhu's shoulder. I'm quite happy to have you by my side to help me. You're a smart kid. If you help me deal with these things, I'm sure you'll succeed. I haven't even started working, and you're already praising me. If I screw it up, let's see if you cry. If you mess up, I'll spank you. Hey. Liu Zhu protested a few times, but Li Fan just laughed, so she simply stopped talking. These three countries have a lot of grudges with Huaxia. Liu Zhu began to help Li Fan analyze the situation. Since they want to buy weapons from us, it's not impossible. I think we should only sell them second-rate goods. Leave the real first-class goods for Huaxia. Li Fan suggested. No, that's absolutely not possible. Liu Zhu rejected Li Fan's proposal. We need international credibility right now. Since we're going to sell, we must sell the same things. Selling to America, selling to Huaxia, we'll sell second-rate goods. Liu Zhu gave Li Fan an ambiguous smile. First-rate goods, we'll only keep them for ourselves. You're even guarding against Huaxia? I'm only thinking for you, Big Brother. Liu Zhu said. Moreover, I don't need to explain whether Huaxia treats you well or not. Even if you treat them wholeheartedly, they still don't treat you as one of their own. If they're guarding against you, why don't you guard against them? All right, I'll do as you say. Li Fan shrugged his shoulders, but I don't know if America's guys will take a fancy to our second-rate goods. My brother, you're underestimating our Li family island's strength. Liu Zhu was more confident than Li Fan. Do you know what the people of those countries want the most every day? It's mutants. They study the energy and genes of mutants to develop a new era of genetic weapons, but our Li family island is unique in this regard. Almost all the mutants in Huaxia, including those from other countries, have gathered here. Mutants from other countries? They're also in Li family island? Yes, because mutants are criminals in any country. Liu Zhu explained. Only in Li family island will they be treated well. Don't tell me you've forgotten that our Li family island's strongest army is the New Abilities Bureau personally overseen by Bai Lin Luo. So that's how it is. Li Fan said that having talents like Bai Lin Luo by his side really helped a lot. In order to protect you, Bai Lin Luo specially trained a powerful female warrior. Li Fan felt that Bai Lin Luo was becoming more and more concerned about his life. Why did he train a warrior for him? And a female warrior at that. Let's go to the military base and meet this female warrior first. Liu Zhu took out their itinerary for today. What female warrior? I'm not going. Li Fan waved his hand repeatedly. You're making me look weak and sickly. Although it's just a clone, I still have the strength of a semi-sage, okay? The chief said you have to go even if you don't want to. Liu Zhu smiled. He already knew you would say that. Bai Lin Luo was now the first chief of Li Family Island. His full title was the Chief of Li Family Island Special Administrative Region. Basically, when Li Fan was not around, Bai Lin Luo had the greatest authority. But above them was the Li Family Island's constitution. As the Honorable Li Family Island's ruler, your safety is the most important thing on the island. This little Four Eyes, he really likes to make things difficult for me. Li Fan had no choice but to go and meet the female warrior. The image of the female warrior had already appeared in his mind. A body full of strong muscles, a height of 2 meters, the kind that could beat someone to death. As an assistant, Liu Zhu was indeed proficient in everything. He brought Li Fan downstairs. Even driving was his job. Liu Zhu opened the door of an Audi Q7 and invited Li Fan to get in. This is a car specially made for you. The body is covered with a layer of alloy armor. Even missiles can't penetrate it. Do you think I'm afraid of missiles? Li Fan felt very helpless. Little Four Eyes was becoming more and more fond of these superficial projects. "Please get in the car, my lord." Liu Zhu's attitude became respectful again. He was like a qualified actor, playing out every identity very well. "Okay, follow me out of the palace." Just as Li Fan got in the car, he suddenly thought of something and couldn't help but exclaim, "Holy shit, by Lin Luo, he won't build me another palace, right?" With that, Liu Zhu's expression turned strange. Chapter 1546. Fuck, he really did it. Li Fan was on the verge of collapse. Cough, cough, it's not finished yet. Liu Zhu coughed dryly. "Ce said not to let you know. This guy, he hides everything from me. I'll teach him a lesson later." Li Fan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Later, he might change a talent show building for me. Fuck. He also did this? Ce said, "To carry on the ancestral line of the Li family island's ruler is the honor of the women. Tell him to scram." Li Fan almost exploded. "It's a modern society now, doing adventurous feudal things. So be it if the temporary imperial residence is built, part of it is for me to live in, the other part is open to the public for tourists to visit." Li Fan emphasized, in addition, the talent show building and all the other luxurious and useless things that promote feudal ideas, all of them are to be removed for me. This kid, what the hell is he doing, making it seem like I came here to be an emperor? Ce is also thinking for your sake, you have to understand him. I understand, but this is not the case. Li Fan leaned on the chair. I don't want to be a retrogressor of the times. Anyone who goes against the wheel of the times, in the end, will end up very miserable. This matter of being a ruler, I will agree. But I feel that I'm similar to the Emperor of Japan, the Queen of England, just a local symbol, a mascot. Ce understands your mind, so he set up the highest concept in the Constitution. Liu Zhu squinted at Li Fan in the rearview mirror. Don't forget, the Li family's constitution is very open to the marriage system. We support polygamy, and even homosexuality. Fuck, so messy. Li family island has a small population, we can't follow the normal marriage system. Liu Zhu had a deep understanding of Li family's laws, but polygamy is not that easy to do. Because under this system, once one party wants a divorce, he has to take half of the family's property. So, if you don't have that strong financial resources, it's better to be a monogamous husband. I'm afraid a marriage tied up in this way won't be a happy one, right? No country's marriage law can guarantee the happiness of a marriage. Liu Zhu answered while driving, happiness is something that you have to grasp yourself. Alright, Li Fan's Li family island was actually more like a lawless place. Although the constitution was the highest, it was actually very lax in regulating many things. For example, in Li family island, gambling and sex were legal, but they had to pay high taxes. After all, for any country, these two things could not be eliminated. It would be better to be like Amsterdam and openly pay taxes. Liu Zhu continued to report to Li Fan while driving. The car drove all the way to the military base. When the sentry guard saw that it was Li Fan's car, he immediately let it pass. The Li family island's military base wasn't big, but it trained elites. From afar, Li Fan could see a Q5 parked there. The photo on it was Li A00002. It should be by Lin Luo's car. This kid is here too. That's great, I'm looking for him. After the car stopped, Li Fan immediately jumped out of the car. When the soldier next to him saw Li Fan, he quickly saluted. Li Fan waved his hand and signaled them to continue with their work. At the same time, Liu Zhu followed beside Li Fan and led him to the depths of the base. Bai Lin Luo seemed to know the news of Li Fan's arrival, and he directly came out to greet him. Beside Bai Lin Luo, there was a woman in a black cloak. Little Four Eyes, damn you, you're making me so nervous. Li Fan directly stepped forward and said to Bai Lin Luo. Bai Lin Luo coughed twice and waved his hand to signal the guard next to him to leave. After they left, Bai Lin Luo put down his pride and said, "Big brother, you have to give me face in front of others. Big brother, you have to give me face in front of others." I am the chief executive. My comrade CE, you're putting me on the wheel of history. Li Fan grabbed Bai Linluo's arm. Talent show building? Fuck, what are you thinking? Can't you tell me? You let it slip. Bai Linluo's gaze first fell on Liu Zhu, but Liu Zhu shrugged. He guessed it himself. It has nothing to do with me. Don't change the topic. Tell me honestly, Li Fan asked. Bai Linluo explained, you are after all a core member of the Li family, so you have to quickly have a child to carry on the family line. The talent show building exists for this reason. Nonsense. What era do you live in? Did your grandmother teach you that? Besides, this Li family island is not my dynasty. Do you still want to have a hereditary system? The Li family island is originally your land. Bai Linluo reminded Li Fan, for generations, naturally your family has the final say. Then do you dare to guarantee that my son can also be so awesome? What if he's a bastard? What should I do? The dragon has 9 sons, each is different. Bai Linluo very seriously said, so I want you to have more children, even if it's a daughter, you can raise her to be a queen. Besides, what kind of bloodline do you have, Li Fan? The children you give birth to, I'm afraid, will be extraordinary. You're thinking too much. Always prepare for a rainy day. It's fine if you don't have the talent show building. In any case, you already have a lot of women. Why do you say this so awkwardly? This is the truth. The most important is you and Imperial concubine Ju, as well as Murong Ying's 2 children. Bai Linluo urged, the 2 of them are heroines among women, their genes are also very outstanding. If you give birth to a child with them, your future will be limitless. With Imperial concubine Ju's child can still be considered, but with Murong Ying, forget about it. Li Fan said, even if he gives birth to a child with Murong Ying, he's afraid that the child will belong to their Murong family. Alright, let's not do the talent show building, let's talk about the matter of your bodyguard. As Bai Linluo said this, he pulled the woman beside him in front of him. It's her name is Nova. Come, Nova, say hello to Jun Shong. Bang! This Nova directly knelt on the ground, her knees actually pressing a hole in the ground. Jun Shong. Nova's name suggested that he was Russian, but he spoke fluent Chinese. Nova is of Russian descent, but she has been wandering outside since she was a child, working as a mercenary. Bai Linluo introduced, she is a mutant. Later on she came to our Li family island. I made some changes to her. Changes? I did it of my own accord. Nova immediately said, people like me, if they want to live, they must become strong. Jun Shong, from today onwards, I am willing to become a sharp sword in your hand, to live for you. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.